Was Gabrielle dead? Was Hope dead? If Hope was dead, was the threat of Dahak dead? Where did Ares go? Did Joxer ever receive credit for gathering the Hind's Blood dagger? So many questions loomed at the conclusion of the Sacrifice saga from Season 3. One thing was certain: Callisto had been terminated. With the blonde barbarian out of the picture, and our bard's status in question, it wasn't long before the story continued with a fresh set of 22 episodes. Along with introducing new elements into the mix, this latest season would revolve around the aftermath of Sacrifice and continue the pattern set in motion during Season 3. Further examination of Xena's past, and intense moments between the characters as they battled through internal and external conflicts. At the same time, production on a new trilogy of films in New Zealand was underway, resulting in this being the final season for many of the crew members behind the scenes. Capping all of this off was an unfortunate religious controversy and a rather unusual choice as the season finale. My name is Aaron, continuing our look back at the Xena series with the episodes that aired from late 1998 to the spring of 1999. This is A Tale of Xena Warrior Princess, Season 4. Adventures in the Sin Trade, a collaboration between Rob Tappert and RJ Stewart, kicked off the new season with TJ Scott as the director on September 28th, 1998. Xena furiously commands Argo onward, and hey, Eric Thompson is back as Hades. The god of the underworld is in the village, declaring where all of these dead souls will go. Xena interrupts the process, pleading with Hades for the whereabouts of Gabrielle. Problem is, he hasn't seen her. There has to be something he knows. Our bard was Greek. Hades asks if Gabrielle belonged to any groups. Of course, she was an Amazon, so she must have gone to another land of the dead. This would be the final time Eric Thompson appeared as Hades in the series. Xena can't take Argo on this journey, so her beloved horse must stay here. Furious galloping! Hey, where'd it go? A mesmerizing montage plays as the rain begins to fall. Joseph LaDuca continues his musical genius throughout the episode. Xena shoots a deer and begins to move in time. Suddenly, she hears a familiar voice, and it sounds like it was straight out of Season 1's Dreamworker. Look at the brute strength of the warrior princess. As Xena continues to hear that voice, or is it the wind, she declares to Gabrielle that in order to see her again, she must go to a dark world she promised herself she'd never return to. Her past memories, engulfing, consuming. It's sexy time. After the events in Chin, Xena and Boreas are seizing the day. He loses what's left of his mind by confessing his love for her. Not interested in this lovey-dovey crap, Xena says they should go after the Amazons. Boreas suggests another alliance, this time with the Amazons against their traditional enemies, the Centaurs. Suddenly, these two ladies are caught lurking in camp. It's the debut of Claire Stansfield as Alti, a shamaness who claims she can help Xena and Boreas take out those Amazons. I really like Claire Stansfield. Alongside her apprentice, Anakin, Alti has a bone to pick with the Amazons since she was kicked out of the tribe once her power became too great. Alti then congratulates Xena for being with child. What? The Hungarian warns the destroyer that a shamaness can only mean trouble. But that's okay, Xena likes trouble. Look at Alti's outfit, and look at Xena putting on the same colors as her present-day ritual continues. Blood on the forehead. These transitional shots are fantastic, especially this one. As she carries on in this killer-looking fur and bead outfit, she finds a dead carcass in the tree. Two other ladies look on, while Xena brings the body down for more rituals. These two baddies responsible for this girl's death emerge, and it's on. Not even the reinforcements are a match for Xena's electrifying moves. When the warrior princess escorts the body to a huge fire, the other Amazons follow her. Xena lets it all out as she mourns the death of her dear friend. Clips from Sins of the Past, The Greater Good, One Against an Army, and A Day in the Life are shown on screen as Xena cries away. This showcase of raw emotion is extremely well done. I can feel that pain as I speak to you right now. Another flashback occurs as one of the Siberian Amazons, Oteri, recalls an attack on a village conducted by Boreas and the mourning woman before them. Xena calls for Alti as the battle hits a fever pitch. The Hungarian says they must move out, but the destroyer is too busy mourning over the loss of Anakin. Before Xena can use her sword against that same Amazon recounting this story, Boreas prevents that from happening and storms off. Alti says Xena can see her friend again before we shift back to the future. The Amazons figure out Xena's intention to cross over to the other side, made possible by sacrificing this horse. Things get really trippy before Xena falls to the ground. Suddenly her spirit is lifted, and she finds herself in the land of the dead. The young girl killed by the baddies earlier thanks Xena for giving her a decent funeral. As these two press onward, the warrior princess explains that she's here to look for a friend, her only friend. Another flashback begins with Xena and Alti being reunited with Anakin in the same land of the dead. However, Anakin wants nothing to do with Xena for poisoning her soul. The destroyer hates the dead. Wait, vengeance against the dead is possible? Xena and Alti are slapped and kicked back to the land of the living by Boreas. As the Hungarian expresses his contempt for all the shamanism, the shamaness declares their baby boy will be born healthy, but neither of his parents will name him. Boreas is having none of this prediction crap, while Xena is having none of this family crap. At a campfire, Xena wants to know more about this power Alti possesses. The shamaness asserts that unlike Lao Ma, whose power came from the light, this power comes from darkness. Hatred and violence, two things Xena knows about real well. Alti proposes an alliance, and should Xena accept, the shamaness vows to make her the destroyer of nations. In the present, we are introduced to Cyan, Queen of the Amazons, played by Victoria Pratt. How did Cyan end up in the land of the dead? She was killed by Xena. Understandably, the Queen wants nothing to do with the warrior princess. But upon learning about Xena's quest to find Gabrielle, Cyan leads the way. Back in the land of the living, the Siberian Amazons are going to kill Xena! Nope, it was only a crafty way to go to commercial. Cyan and the rest of the Amazons are doomed to wander in this land forever, no thanks to Alti. The Amazons in the land of the living slowly let Xena down. As Oteri explains, they must let her fulfill her mission in the land of the dead. How nice of them. Another flashback from the night Boreas saved this young Amazon begins. Alti says that same girl shall take Xena's powers away one day, unless she kills her now. But of course, the Hungarian prevents that. Back in the present, Oteri is certain that Alti's prediction of taking this power away from Xena shall come to pass. Back in the land of the dead, the Queen says the gate to eternity lies in the heart of that volcano, surrounded by hot magma. Cyan's tribe can't pass through, but Amazons from Greece and Mesopotamia can. As the warrior princess makes her way to the volcano, she suddenly decides to do something the young bard would want her to do. Xena is going back to stop Alti. back, Amazons. The warrior princess is here. Xena remembers Oteri, but not this dude. Kill him anyway, says the young Amazon, since you drew first blood. But instead she sends him off to alert Alti. Now they have a bigger problem. A warrior known as Berserker, who is armed with powers fueled by the shamaness. With her trademark war cry, Xena leads the Siberian Amazons into battle. This fight scene is fantastic, with lots of great wide shots and scintillating close-quarter combat. Before long, he's here. The Berserker, and whoa, that was easy. Psych, here's the real Berserker. The shamaness's powerful warrior slices Xena's arm and renders her acrobatics useless. With Alti's powers, Xena relives the punishment she endured in the gauntlet from the legendary journeys, Sacrifice 2 at the hands of Callisto, and even the moment her legs were crushed by Lucy Lawless's brother Ryan. I love how the shaky filming used in The Return of Callisto is seen again as Xena powers her way onto this horse with 2 bad wheels. After a few swings and misses, the Berserker jumps behind Xena, only to get stabbed in the heart. So why do her legs still feel broken? Wait a minute. The evil Argo. Suddenly, Alti's spirit flees from the horse and Xena's legs are restored. With the shamaness's ability to use the past against her foes, this'll be a toughie. Part 2 of Adventures in the Sin Trade was the first episode of October 1998, debuting on the 5th. Yowza! In Abanya, Xena conducts a purification ritual with Oteri and legs. The warrior princess says in order to defeat Alti, they must develop spiritual powers of their own. A flashback begins and more legs. Cyan is in the middle of her own purification ritual as Solid Xena engages in tactical espionage. Xena tumbles down into the banya and mamacita. Cyan quickly snatches each piece she can off Xena, and the roles are reversed. This exchange is great. The destroyer grabs a spare robe, and the chase through the forest is on. Xena's quickness is no match for Cyan's Amazonian agility. But Boreas prevents any necks from being snapped. If Cyan were to kill Xena now, there would be no chance of peace between them. The Hungarian ensures the destroyer's safety, but he's running out of patience with her. Xena decides to hang around Cyan for a while since the queen possesses some nifty fighting techniques. In the present, Oteri reveals her father died while defending his village from Xena's army years ago. Despite her resentment, the young Amazon insists on keeping the warrior princess by her side. With Oteri's help, Xena proposes to build a new life for her and the next generation of Amazons. Amazon Nation, meet your new shamaness. Time to leave the prison of their own bodies with the dance of the spirits. Fully aware of Xena's plan, Alti begins her counterattack. An excellent back and forth montage of both rituals ensues, with the Amazons dancing in the moonlit wilderness and Alti calling on the enslaved souls killed by Xena to stop her. Fail, and you will live forever in the land of the dead. Attack the spirit of Xena and her friends. Enter the deep recesses of their minds and drive them to their nuts! Xena exits her body, but the others hesitate when the enslaved spirits arrive in droves. The Amazons become possessed, forcing Xena to re-enter her body and fight back. After neutralizing Oteri and Yakut, the warrior princess urges them to fight the spirits. It works, and those enslaved souls are screwed, man. The next day, Xena has a premonition. Alti's power lies where the Amazon did ascend to the land of the dead. Time to set up camp. We're about to run it back. Blood. In the evening, the Amazons complete their task, and here's another flashback. With these two now BFFs, Cyan offers Xena a spot in the Amazon nation, and Oteri thinks she knows what happened from there. The flashback resumes with Alti having none of this join the Amazons crap. Imagine what you would do if you had the spiritual force to match the power of your army. You'd be unstoppable. Cyan is not amused. A spiritual duel breaks out between the Queen and the Shamaness. The intensity is brilliantly illustrated by these quick eye-to-eye cuts. Eventually, Alti is defeated. Cyan then issues Xena an ultimatum. Side with the Amazons and find life, or side with Alti and find death. Uh-oh, Alti's close tonight. Remember lads, any living thing can hold her spirit. Hey look, it's a spider! And now it's on Xena's face. Behold, a special effect that Mr. Tapper doesn't like. Spider Gab! Whoa, it is Gabrielle. Actually, it's Alti. Tell me who the blonde one is. For the love of Zeus, she is not a blonde. Xena says Gabrielle represents someone who can defeat Alti, but the Shamaness counters with a flashback. It is revealed that Alti placed a curse on Xena's unborn child, ensuring that it would never know the love of either of his parents. That is messed up. Xena grabs the spider, and Alti decides to bounce. The next day, Xena doesn't wake up. Yakut says the powers have left the warrior princess and tests if Oteri now possesses them with a punch to the nose. I love that. Xena awakens to the awful discovery of Solin's curse, all to prevent the light from the child's face from turning Xena away from Alti's darkness. The tribe carries on to the Amazon resting place, a spot in the forest with rotting corpses hanging from the trees. One of which was once Cyan. Xena and the Amazons pay their respects in unison before another flashback begins. As an Amazon musical piece from Season 1 plays, Xena interrupts a funeral pyre with a casual Amazon salute. Her face as she does this cracks me up. When Xena inquires if the deceased was a little redhead, she reveals to Cyan that it was no fall. I pushed her. Xena killed their little friend for sport, and now she'll out-Amazon the Amazons. The fight is taken to the trees, where the Amazons are brutally taken out one by one. But no tricks for Cyan. The Destroyer wants to beat the Queen fair and square. Cyan unleashes a fury of strikes at Xena. However, with fancy acrobatics, the Destroyer launches the Queen straight at this tree, and ooh. In her last moments, this poor Queen asks, why? Alti offered Xena a better deal, and the Shamaness takes Cyan's blood. Side note, during my experience at the 25th anniversary of Xena convention in November 2022, Victoria Pratt mentioned that she spent a good portion of her time during the worldwide shutdown of 2020 cutting down trees. Knowing how her character dies here, the irony is delicious. Anyway, evil Xena is one step closer to fulfilling her destiny. In the present, the warrior princess reveals she took out every single Amazon sister, except for young Oteri. By gathering Cyan's blood, Alti kept the queen and her tribe trapped in the land of the dead. Suddenly, Xena pinches every single Amazon in sight. Alti's forces are at hand, so no time for dancing. They all must die. Sort of, including Xena. As her spirit emerges from her body, the warrior princess urges the others to join her in the latest spiritual battle. The Amazons each donate their spirits to Xena, And here's Ulti! As the two duelists endure crushing blows, their bodies recoil with greater and greater intensity. Very nice intercutting here. Ulti sets Xena up for the chokeslam, and snippets of Xena's future are used against her. Xena is down! Wait a minute. What's up with that short-haired wig? Your little friend is dying with you, Xena. But the warrior princess says that's good, because if she dies with Xena in the future, that means Gabrielle is alive! Xena mounts the comeback with killer aerial switch kicks that cause Ulti to reenact Cyan's death. Xena's spirit reunites with her body, and she quickly removes all the pinches. There's a new holy word a shamaness must give the Amazon deed: love. Back in the land of the deed, Cyan discovers that she and her sisters are now free to cross over. Great moment. The two-part saga ends at a campfire with Oteri's destiny fulfilled. She is the new leader of the Amazon nation. Such a great start to the season. The performances, cinematography, action, costuming, and intertwining of Xena's past throughout parts 1 and 2 are all top-notch. Claire Stansfield is excellent as Ulti, solidifying herself and her character as favorites amongst the fanbase. Finally, the work that TJ Scott put into these 2 episodes would be the catalyst for something real cool down the line. I love the Sin Trade saga. The following week was A Family Affair, written by the duo of Liz Friedman and Chris Mannheim, and directed by Doug Leffler.
Hello, Mother.
This man is looking for his dog Pluto in the woods. Suddenly, the canine barks away. Uh-oh. T-Money, the artist formerly known as Ted Raimi, makes his first appearance in Season 4 as Joxer has a fresh batch of Gabrielle's favorite flowers, daisies. As he lets some fall into the pit, a deadite grabs his arm. No, it's only Xena. Hang on. She threw herself in the pit and climbed out? How? Forget that. Let's go to Podadia. In the bard's hometown, Joxer loves this story. Slow motion head turn. Hey, there it is! Finally, the Rock has come back! Home. Oh, Joxer, get out of the shot! Believe it or not, he receives the first hug from Gabrielle. And a kiss. In front of the warrior princess. Joxer is so deed. If you tell me that you did not get choked up watching this moment for the first time, I'll know you're lying. Gabrielle says she was nearly lost forever, flashing us back to a big sacrifice to fall. Mother and daughter kept falling and falling, until Mother hit a niche in the wall. As for daughter...
Why, Mother, why?
Xena tells Gabrielle about the vision she had, but Joxer interrupts with bad news. Pluto's owner is dead. Our young bard regrettably notes that this is the first human casualty in a long string of deaths in the area. Willa's back! Gabrielle's family is here, including her parents, and of course, Lilla. Joxer makes quite an impression on Mama Gab Hecuba, but Papa Herodotus is not amused. Gabrielle's father holds a grudge towards Xena for seducing his daughter away with her heroics back in Season 1. A thunderstorm hits the area, and it's raining blood. Ew, another dead carcass. The plan: track down the beast killing everybody to its lair in the daylight. Look at Gabrielle, man. Hey, where did it go? Yeah, you better have the chakram at the ready. Okay, maybe you'll need 2. Before long, the beast is here, one of the 6 destroyers. Gabrielle's wicked grandson unleashes his fury, tossing Xena around like a rag doll. The warrior princess attempts to fight back, but her sword is disarmed, and she is set up for a giant chokeslam. In the nick of time, Xena grabs onto the hook from earlier to restrain the beast, and uses this flame to intimidate him. The 2 heroines make a run for it, but Ares' son isn't far behind. As he claws away with his long spikes to break into the home, the madness stops. The sun has saved the day, scaring the beast off into the wilderness. That was the grandchild of Dahak, explains Xena, and that means that the girl in the other room is not Gabrielle. It's Hope. Her evidence? During the battle in the barn, the beast blew past Hope several times. It's the goddess of Dahak's game now, and the warrior princess is more than willing to play it. In the other room, Hope is visibly pissed when Lila points out that the beast has been wounded. Gabrielle tells her sister that once Xena kills the monster, the 2 heroines are going to bounce. Xena tells Joxer that she no longer has to worry about the fates killing her the instant she kills Hope this time, so the daughter must die. Remember how Xena said the beast had been wounded? She lied. In case this doesn't work, the warrior princess has a backup plan. Joxer must count every single sheep in Podadia. Aaronetic is still pissed. He says Gabrielle and Lila have taken a walk. That's all Xena needed. Sisters are doing it for themselves. Before they head left, Gabrielle changes her mind once Xena catches up. The backup plan has worked to perfection. Joxer is asleep. A shortcut! The bridgeless bridge, my favorite. Using her powers, Hope causes a piece of the bridge to snap. One switcheroo later, Lila is in deep trouble. Look at this great evil smirk. Give Xena your hand now! With Lila saved, it's time for some search and destroy.
Hello, beautiful.
As Mama inspects her son for a flesh wound, the kid wants a hug. But it's a little tricky with all of those spikes. Ooh, he cut her open. All he wants is love, as any child does. But it's clear she only loves Dahak. Poor dude. Hope discovers Xena's lie, but grows excited. Mama says that tonight, she wants him to enjoy every moment. I cannot get enough of Rock as a villainess. Great stuff. A short time later, Xena finds Hope treading along in the forest, but so does Joxer. First one to kill the daughter of Dahak gets a fistful of dinars. And Joxer made some noise. Xena then jumps out to slice Hope, but stops. Wait, is that... Our Bard of Podadia is finally reunited with our warrior princess. If you tell me you did not get choked up watching this moment for the first time, I'll know you're lying. Gabrielle says that after all the hellfire and brimstone and Hope screaming, she woke up in a hospice and sent word to Xena. Well, young Bard, your daughter isn't quite dead enough. Joxer's gonna be fed to the beast? The Mighty One's muffled response? Oh shit. After assuring Gabrielle that her family will be safe, Xena has a word with the parents. Wow, who's her makeup artist? Aaronetic has had enough of this crap, and so has Hope. The daughter uses her powers to entice her father's command for Xena to leave. She'd better hurry, or else Joxer is gonna be Destroyer Chow. Look at how much activity is going on in this visually stunning shot. boo. The young bard informs her sister about the evil doppelganger's intentions and wins her trust by recounting a time they once got lost during their childhood. When Lila is sent out,
Hello, Mother.
As the grandchild of Dahak roars in the distance, Joxer is saved by Chakram and ordered to light the torches back in Podadia. The beast is here. Back in the town, we have 4 generations of Gabrielle. Why isn't Hope dead? Well, she's always been Daddy's little girl, saved by the flames of Dahak. Parkour!
Bye-bye, Mommy.
This episode rules. Xena has led the beast into the barn for round 2. The grandchild rams the warrior princess to the wall, but Hope wants a piece of the action. The destroyer approaches his mama for a big hug. Instead, he gets a sword to the spinal. The beast's piercing yells fill the air as Gabrielle runs back to Xena. Suddenly, the real Hope appears and angrily charges at her son. Wait, no, she can't be. Not now. Are you... Damn it, this episode sucks. The beast cries out, Mama! As he slowly realizes what he's done. The 2 family members of Dahak embrace as they both crumble to the ground. The execution of their final moment together is top-notch. The episode ends with our 2 heroines both in search for answers, but as long as they look for them together, how they find those answers doesn't matter. I've previously described this episode as bittersweet for yours truly, and it still is. I really wanted to see more of Hope during Season 4 before they inevitably killed her off. Rock as a villain was, and still is, one of my favorite aspects of the series. What a tag team her and Ulti could have been. The following week gave us In Sickness and in Hell, written by the duo of Adam Armas and Nora K. Foster, and directed by Josh Becker. With that creative trio, you probably know what's coming. Foot rot. Itchamania is running wild, brother, but Xena isn't showing any ill effects. Oh wait, Gabrielle found some lice in her hair. Ew. Our 2 heroines are in a valley looking for Argo, and look at that gnarly fungus on Gabrielle's navel. There's Argo! And she ignored Xena's whistle? I wonder why. Gabrielle guesses it's because of Xena's lice, and that's all Xena needed. Somebody help Joxer see he's running blind. The Mighty One explains a group of marauders is planning to raid a local village. Who are the villagers gonna call? Joxer and his mighty band of mighty men, girls, mighty fighting women of women fighters, fighting mighty, yeah. Holy Zeus, Gabrielle's fungus is green, it's red, and Christmas. How about they catch a rabbit to get her mind off the itching? But they can't have lice-infested wabbit for breakfast, so Gabrielle volunteers to catch it herself. Joxer says the marauders were on horseback, and one of them had this, a Scythian knife. Such evil bastards. Xena hurls the knife to the ground, immediately cutting to this shot of Scythian HQ. Acestus, the leader of the group, notices Argo in the distance. What a magnificent beast! He orders his men after Argo, because having her would make him unstoppable, and evil would rule the world! Be very, very quiet. Gabby's hunting wabbits. There it is. A wabbit, one of the cutest creatures in all the planet. One toss of a berry and it's yours! Oh no, he's angry! The wabbit jumps at the rock, and good Lord Almighty, the wabbit is raising hell all over the Bard of Podadia. Oh my god! You know what I love most about this? Rock described this fight as a tribute to brawls from the WWF. Look at her attempt to squish the wabbit against the tree, and then punch it as it chomps at her neck. Truly hilarious. Xena still can't admit that she's infested with lice. Come on, Gabrielle, kill the wabbit already. Wait, that's not boxing, you're supposed to bite the ear. Xena thinks radish stew sucks, but they have no other breakfast options since Gabrielle let the little wabbit get away. Damn it, you. How could Argo be so mad at Xena? They're in the same valley where they first met years ago. Look at Gabrielle use the chakram as her latest weapon against Itchamania. Beautiful stuff. Xena has had enough of Gabrielle's crap, but what is Exma gonna do when foot rot runs wild on her? This standoff is great. Joxer failed to find Argo, shocker, and Gabrielle's hands are tied up. The warrior princess is off causing a rock slide to the village, giving Joxer an opportunity to ask what we all want to know. How does Gabrielle feel about him? Go on, you, spit it out! And she threw up. All the crazy-haired Xena wants is her pony back! Too bad Joxer's breakfast has our two heroines fighting over who gets to use this bush. Girls, please, there's bushes plenty for everybody. Back at Scythian HQ, Argo has been captured, but a portion of Acestus' troops have been stifled by Xena's rock slide. The leader decides to wait for his army to regroup so he can tame the resilient horse. Fear not, Joxer the Mighty has returned to do a swanton bomb through this table. Very random, but hilarious. He introduces his latest recruits to this pub, Xena and Gabrielle. Crazy-haired Xena is simply brilliant, especially as she continues battling the runs. A short time later, this innkeeper expresses his doubts to Joxer about their chances against the Scythians, as Itchamania continues running wild, dude. Xena needs a volunteer to participate in the battle should things turn ugly. She picks you! And she's scratching her head on the tip of her sword. As for you, innkeeper, hook our two heroines up with a room and bath. You guessed it, more sexy time. Xena says the Scythians must be after this Greek fire, oil that's been heated deep in the ground. What's that all over Gabrielle, you ask? Goat poo. Look at her face. And oh great, both of their Itchamania symptoms are being exchanged. Now Xena's the one in the Goku costume, and she is pissed. At this warm fire, more lice are burned as the two heroines resume their Argo talk. Xena suspects the innkeeper is aligned with the Scythians with an assassin already on the way. Gabrielle and the goblet of linseed root. Wait, she wasn't supposed to drink that linseed root? Great, her mouth has gone numb. Xena cracking up here is awesome. Later that night, the warrior princess's prediction of an assassin showing up comes true, and he slices her head off. Psych, it was only some fruit. He's so lucky she's still battling the runs. Gabrielle, pinch, 20 seconds, get information while Xena poos. Xena cut off the floor, but the bed. Talk! This poor actor is legitimately freaking out as Rock's saliva drips all over his face. Kudos to him for enduring all of that spit for our amusement. In the prison cell, he introduces himself as Acestus' brother, Euryalus, and hastily explains the sinister Scythian plot in order to avoid a big fat kiss from our numb-mouthed bard. I love this shot. A bit of where I go. Right on cue, Xena's horse is outside, being controlled by the Scythian leader. You know it's on like Donkey Kong now. Xena, Gabrielle, and even the rumbling, and bubbling, and stumbling Joxer the Mighty take the fight to the Scythians. During the battle, Acestus frees his brother from captivity and confirms Xena's suspicion from earlier. They'll be back for that Greek fire. But the warrior princess is too busy drowning her sorrows about Argo to give a crap. Joxer, go and neutralize the Scythians with your deadly breakfast formula. In the meantime, Xena will go into the commander's tent to get Argo, and Gabrielle will whistle at the first sign of trouble. Finally, they are reunited, but Argo is still mad. That's right. Enjoy Joxer's pitiful stew. Uh-oh, Scythians are closing in on the tent. Gabrielle, you go with them. Actually, no, she can't. Look out! Xena takes out the baddies in slow motion, highlighted by this wonderful backflip to win back Argo's love. Acestus commands Euryalus to lead the army in an all-out assault on the village, while the leader takes out Xena. Unfortunately for him, Fartamania is running wild, and the soldiers are incapacitated for the foreseeable future. In a field, Xena is ready to fight for Argo one last time. By letting the horse run her over? At the last second, Argo stops in her tracks, sending Acestus flying into another dimension. Finally! For real this time, Xena has reunited with her longtime friend. All that's left is Euryalus, but Gabrielle takes care of him with one staff swing. Way to go, you. Wait, Acestus wants to run it back. The two battle it out to a stalemate before the leader is slammed to the ground. Xena and Argo
Win.
So how did the horse fall under the Scythian spell? Apples? Frickin' apples. The episode ends with Joxer handing back his 500 dinar payout to the villagers and finally catching the runs. Another entertaining episode with plenty of laughs, as you might expect from a Josh Becker episode. Numbmouth Gabrielle is a riot, Joxer causing so much flatulence is hysterical, and Xena's fluffy bunny hair is always a recipe for a good chuckle. I also really enjoy when Ra kept scratching herself with whatever she could find on this table. Watch this one for a good laugh. A Good Day, written by Stephen L. Sears and directed by Rick Jacobson, was the final episode of October 1998, debuting on the 26th. Julius Caesar's forces want food now, but Pompey's forces have beat them to it. Before the javelins are launched, the Greek mercenary known as Flanagus demands the Romans to stand down. But they don't get the memo, so enter Chakram. Flanagus, meet Xena. Now kick Caesar's baddies back to Las Vegas. Women and children, get behind Gabrielle as she clocks goons left and right as only she can. Great action here. Caesar's baddies retreat, and Flanagus is reunited with his wife Nogalin and his son Doremus. Xena says Caesar and Pompey have brought their filthy civil war to Greece, and surprisingly she's going to guarantee it happens. Despite the threat to the lives of her fellow Greeks, the warrior princess would rather have both Roman leaders waste as much of their armies as possible on her homeland. Well, Xena, you've got your man. As Gabrielle sends this lad off to gather reinforcements, another young lad known as Temecula offers to fight himself. To my fellow Californians in the United States, yes, Sears named this lad after that city. He proves to be quite the archer, suitable for any necessary back signals. At Caesar HQ, Julius has full confidence in his army despite being outnumbered. No matter the cost, Pompey must die. Hey, nifty disguises to confuse the Romans! When Flanagus returns with news of recruiting miners to fight, Xena calls for everyone's attention. This village must be destroyed. Wait, what? The Romans must not find anything useful here, so burn everything to the ground. Imagine being told to destroy your own home for the greater good. But the Greek citizens obey, leading to a gripping montage of all the wreckage in slow motion. A short time later, the facade is on. Pompey the Magnus receives word about this, sending a number of troops over to that useless hill. Xena's plan worked. Now retreat. Julius and his troops arrive and are soon greeted by Pompey's men. For Imperial Rome and Caesar! As the Roman soldiers duke it out, Julius discovers the red herring on the battlefield. Xena. The warrior princess's diversion has earned them some new catapults and a head start on Phase 2 of Operation Glorious Battle. The Magnus then is informed by this lad that he barely escaped the wrath of a tall woman. Now Pompey knows. As the Greek villagers set up their defenses, Temecula ponders what it's like to actually kill someone.
It changes everything.
Back at Caesar HQ, Brutus says they have a problem in front of the men. Rule number 1, there are no problems in front of Caesar's men, Brutus. Rule number 2, first learn rule number 1. Prisoner for Caesar! Hey, it's Xena! As she watches through this little hole in the tent, Julius explains his next moves on the assumption that Pompey is negotiating an alliance with Xena. After rescuing Flanagus and returning to camp, our two heroines need to have a chat. This shot is awesome. The jet black-haired heroine tells our young bard about Julius's plot to move in from the woods and a reserved attachment. But there's another part of his plan that eludes her. Xena entrusts Gabrielle to give the command to the Greek soldiers once the battle breaks out, since she knows Caesar and her best friend well. But the young bard cannot fathom sending men to their deaths. Great. Only 2 guards, Pompey. The warrior princess and the Magnus talk business. Enter Caesar, perfectly playing into her hands. The catapults are launched, and the brawl is on.
Fire, fire, yeah.
The pyro beautifully covers the background as Xena dismantles Caesar's goons, while Julius and Pompey duke it out. This is the first time we see these two in action to this extent, and they both pull it off well. A sinkhole. Caesar's army is retreating, says Temecula, but Gabrielle is all too familiar with this trick. You're in command, you. The three-way dance rages on in the pit. This duel is cool. Gabrielle leads Flanagus and the other Greeks into battle. Great action all around here. When it's time to retreat, Temecula signals for the catapults once more. Wait, Gabrielle, don't follow them! The trash talk in the pit continues, with Caesar pointing out that the Greeks are being led straight to his reserves. You better run fast, Xena. The warrior princess takes down scores of the Roman forces while desperately calling out for our young bard. The catapults carry on as the action slows down. Superb cutting of our two heroines taking out baddies in this sequence. Our young bard soon realizes the horrors of war taking place around her. Suddenly, Flanagus' life is in danger. Gabrielle takes hold of a javelin and takes a deep breath. The javelin is launched! And she missed by a country mile. Her blunder costs Flanagus his life. But at least he's quickly avenged by the young archer. Caesar and Pompey hear a lot of nothing up top, ending their duel. Surprise, gentlemen, your armies have been crushed. They've been played, and they lost. However, Caesar says it's only a minor setback. Xena can't change his destiny. A dejected Gabrielle reports that everything worked exactly like her friend said. Well, almost everything. The wonderful burial theme fills the air as Xena and Gabrielle conduct a funeral pyre for Flanagus. The episode ends with these tearful words from our young bard.
It was a good day fighting.
Another home run written by Stephen L. Sears. Temecula's resemblance to the innocent Gabrielle from Season 1 is a nice touch early on, leading to the payoff of his first kill changing everything, as she pointed out before the battle. Gabrielle's evolution continues its incredible trajectory with another fantastic performance by O'Connor, one of Season 4's finest offerings. November 1998 began with A Tale of Two Muses, written by Gillian Horvath and directed by Eolus! Michael Hurst's second directorial piece of the series, debuting on the 2nd. The infernal heat of summer has led to Xena needing a bath and Gabrielle needing some new boots. While they get what they need, let's witness this young lady dance. Holy Roswell, it's Tara! The feisty young'un nails the splits, and he likes. Love is in the air as this dancing duo wows the audience. Except for this high-strung bastard named Istefan. Looks like Tara hasn't learned anything since her last appearance, as she is busted for yet another crime. But this wasn't simply any old crime. It was a crime against the great muse, Calliope. Swift and fair justice shall be served by way of 10 lashes from Lycanus. Not while Xena is here. Save some for Gabrielle, will ya? Our two heroines blast through Istefan's goons with ease. The young bard lands so many shots with her staff. It's wonderful. After Xena helps these two headbutt each other, she flips over to the stage. Quite the reunion, eh? Istefan is not amused. He reveals it was no lynch mob they just demolished, it was the town militia, led by him, the chief magistrate. Now, about the heinous crime Tara committed. She danced. 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 But instead of a royal whipping, this lad, Telamon, recommends that Tara be banished from the town instead. The citizens nod their approval, and the magistrate makes it official. Telamon's son, Andros, beats himself up for running away instead of defending his girlfriend, but she still loves him. Back in the infernal heat of summer, Tara explains that because of a fire burning down most of the town after a big dance nearly 60 years ago, dancing has become outlawed. A lifelong fan of the art, her mission is to get back in town to prevent Telamon and Andros from living under such tyranny. Realizing how much dancing means to the young'un, Xena says they shall indeed go back. Estefan's lecture on Calliope is interrupted by Tara's heartfelt apology. Telamon gets the town to agree to welcome her back as long as she vows to change her evil ways. Later that night, Tara's evil ways have infected Gabrielle. Wait, this town in BC times has working toilets? Dancing being illegal excites the young bard, and I love it. Time for bead? Damn it. Oh, there she goes again. Don't stop, you. The next morning, the patch job for Gabrielle's boots will take 3 days to complete. In the meantime, you expect her to wear those? Here comes the great prophet, Philippon! Oh, it's really Autolycus. Sweet, Bruce is back. Turns out Xena called in this favor via pigeon, with the grand prize of 0 dinars as Otto's reward. People of Palios, Philippon of Crete, reformer of warlords, dancers, and evil people. He even reformed the King of Thieves, an individual Istefan takes great pleasure in chastising. That's all Autolycus needed. The king goes into overdrive with his preaching, lamenting his misspent youth on the vile art of dance. Only one spirit could save him from the rocky road to Tartarus. Calliope herself! Praise Calliope! Praise her! Damn it, Gabrielle, praise her now! While we're at it, let's ban all other artistic outlets too! Praise Calliope!
Coming to bed, honey?
Yes, dear.
Telamon has had enough of this crap. As he has a heated discussion with Xena, Philippon interrupts and bashes this abomination of a painting done by Telamon himself. The firmness of those rounded peaks, the cleft in that valley, the skyward thrusting tower! The painting must be destroyed. These close-up shots of that monument are hysterical. Later that night, Terra is dejected. But when her shadow compels her to embrace her inner passion, we find her breaking the law again. Too restless to be satisfied with silence, she is suddenly joined by the great Andros. Let the spirit move you. Andros has had enough of this Palios crap and tells Terra to run away with him. She clearly says no. There goes Gabrielle defying Calliope again. When a heartbroken Telamon reveals the young couple has skipped town, Xena stops them dead in their tracks. Having his father lose another son to Athens and not keeping her word on reforming Palios? That simply won't do. Gabrielle cannot resist dancing any longer. Istefan returns, and our young bard toys with him as he listens to Philippon's idea for implementing martial discipline to the youngsters. But there's an election tomorrow, says Istefan. How will this go over with the voters? Left, left, right, left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Evil dancing is a bore. We want martial discipline from our own jet black-haired heroine. Xena says it's time for a real art. The art of war! On her account now, hey, it's Zoe Bell. Istefan dismisses everyone who isn't a child from the premises, and this is where it gets really cool. Xena's lovely assistant leads the way as a new dance number begins. Look at that woman tap dance. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking? Zoe Bell with the splits, and this nearly kills Xena. This scene never gets old. Later that night, Xena tells Palios that sword lessons begin in a week. Praise Calliope! Telamon angrily voices his displeasure with the children learning to kill. Calling for drastic change, he declares himself a candidate in the upcoming election. The town rejoices, but you know this bastard has a plan. The election is here, and so is an arrow straight at Autolycus. Xena swats the projectile away and questions why Lycanus was nowhere to be seen. Why would I want Philippon killed, asks Istefan, and that's where he messed up. Staging an assassination to create the illusion of anarchy? This calls for something the magistrate detests. A dance! Gabrielle leads the way as the rest of the young'uns hit the stage. Before we know it, everyone is dancing! Happy party! Istefan commands the militia to stop the madness, but Calliope has spoken to Philippon. Let's dance! The party resumes, and everyone has the time of their lives. Xena and Autolycus kick Lycanus all the way to Tartarus before this cheeky shot of our warrior princess shaking her tail feathers. Jumping jacks and cartwheels galore as the episode comes to a close. But not before we see this incredible freeze frame. If you tell me that you did not get choked up watching this moment for the first time, I'll know you're lying. A real fun episode that pays homage to 1984's Footloose. O'Connor's legitimate dancing background shines through, providing a rare moment of Gabrielle being the fully confident one in action, while Xena does her best to keep up. This would be the final appearance of Terra in the series. The following week premiered Locked Up and Tied Down, an episode written by the trio of Tappert Becker and Hilary J. Bader, and once again directed by Jacobson. As Gabrielle sorts out a knot in Xena's back, the warrior princess dismisses the idea of an unexamined life not being worth living. Socrates be damned! More baddies, and Xena knows exactly how many there are instantly. our two heroines wreck shop at regular speed and in slow motion. The messenger boy then drops a bombshell. He brings forth an arrest warrant for Xena. The crime? The murder of someone named Thalassa. More flashbacks of Xena's past. Katrina Brown returns after her appearance in Season 3's When in Rome. Since Thalassa was really innocent, the warrior princess surrenders without a fight, handing over her signature weapon to our young bard. Court is now in session, with the judge being played by the returning Huntley Elliott from Season 1. As witnesses express how painful it was to lose Thalassa, a flashback shows evil Xena's soldiers forcing many innocents inside a cave. The Destroyer of Nations threatens to kill the women if she doesn't get what she wants. Wait, she doesn't kill women? The witnesses once thought that too, until Xena gave Thalassa a huge gash on the face. First time for everything, says the Destroyer, but this man reveals that what she wants is in the Temple of Demeter. The information doesn't stop Xena from leaving Thalassa tied up with these flesh-eating crabs. Gabrielle's efforts as the defense attorney are admired by the judge, but the verdict is life imprisonment on Shark Island. With our bard in disbelief, the guilt continues to eat Xena up, since Thalassa had the exact same light Gabrielle has. The warrior princess extends her hand to her friend, but time is up. The power of the chakram compels you, Gabrielle. Suddenly, the healer of the Shark Island prison has resigned and wants some wine now. The young bard asks if a replacement has been chosen. Lucky for her, the answer is no. But she'll have to wait a week to act on this revelation. Meanwhile, Xena has arrived to Shark Island with several other prisoners. This stern prison captain asks his men to demonstrate what will happen if any captive tries to escape. Yep, death. In this prison cell, the quarrelsome Ursina harasses this redhead for all the dinars. Xena cuts in, and we learn that Ursina is one of the many baddies she helped to incarcerate. With no love lost between them, Ursina sends the prisoners after Xena. It doesn't work out. And you can forget about an alliance. Wait, they left the carcass on that noose? The captain wants to toss the lifeless body to the sharks, but the warrior princess wants to bury her. Surprisingly, he allows her to do so. In the rain. These are some beautiful shots. I wonder who that strange hooded fellow is. The next morning, this woman has become very weak. "You're a real hero, aren't you?" quips the captain. Xena says no, but she endures some heavy blows for her back talk. "Back to work, hero, and carry the barrels by yourself," he commands. Suddenly, this young redhead attempts to help Xena, but is quickly restrained and sentenced to 3 lashes from this Biff Tannen-looking guy. The warrior princess has finally had enough of this crap, taking the fight to the guards with this rope as if it was a pair of nunchakus. But soon she is surrounded, and then not surrounded. Look at her use a guard as a weapon and then knee him repeatedly in the face. So who is this strange hooded fellow? Thalassa? It is revealed that Thalassa escaped after her arm was severed by the flesh-eating crabs. Into the pit Xena goes for a crime she didn't even commit. Her pitmates? Big frickin' hairy rats from Season 1. The captain says a new healer has arrived. Oh, that is cool. Gabrielle asks where it hurts, and that's not good. As Xena begins fighting off the rats with her teeth, Gabrielle tells Thalassa to rediscover her soul. but the commandant says that's impossible after what that evil jet black haired woman did to her years ago. Time to move, you. Bah! Damn, this man will not leave her alone. Now how can she get the damn captain away from her? This lady's broom as a staff! What a swell idea. She soon finds the door to the pits, and you bet Xena can hear her. The chakram is barely tossed inside before the guards take Gabrielle away. The Lhasa has taken this facade personally, but it's not over yet. Okay, I really want to see someone kick this guy's ass now. A new crop of prisoners have arrived to Shark Island, and the captain would like to demonstrate what happens if— damn it, somebody save our bard! Xena launches a rat to the chakram above with her teeth. Awesome. All the commandant needs to do is give the guards the green light. The good news is, she can't! The bad news is, the captain can. Thank goodness the chakram exists in this world. This time, Ursina and the rest of the prisoners join the big battle against the guards. Gabrielle does all she can inside the Lhasa's quarters to stop the riots, but Ursina overwhelms our young bard. Through the window! The warrior princess fiercely battles the woman she helped incarcerate, drop-kicking Ursina out and jump-kicking her way down below. That shot is incredible. After a futile attempt by the prisoners to cut in, Xena finishes Ursina with a counter handspring kick. The episode ends with the Lhasa thanking Gabrielle for helping her rekindle the light she once had, and our young bard returns the chakram to her friend. Another really good offering from the cast and crew. Seeing Xena continue to wrestle with the actions from her past is as strong as ever, and the payoff of seeing this guy get demolished is satisfying. A good portion of the interaction between these two was drastically cut from the final version of Locked Up. Thankfully, the extended scene can be found on the bonus features of the Season 4 DVD set from Anchor Bay Entertainment. Highly recommended extra. The Crusader, written by Stewart and directed by the returning Paul Lynch, aired the following week. An unknown woman is informed by these lads that their men are being attacked around the hill. She soon discovers Xena and Gabrielle in the heat of battle. Wait, this gal actually knocked both of them down? Who is this? Jumping sidekick! The woman unmasks, draws her sword, and charges at the warrior princess in slow motion. As this fight occurs, the familiar Callisto theme blares in the background. Gabrielle attempts to help, but this crazy lady kicks her down and reconsiders going for the kill. Thank goodness. And now she's crying and asking to be forgiven? What in Tartarus is going on? This is Najara, played by Catherine Morris, who accurately summarizes why our two heroines are here and what they've gone through. How does she know all of this? The Jinn told her, and the Jinn are the Jinn. Yes, Najara represents the Joan of Arc with an Argo of her own named Banakar. She explains that fighting darkness wherever she goes is her mission in life, with Marat of Crete being her current target. This dangerous man is on a slave hunt in the village of Zoras, and the Jinn thinks Xena and Gabrielle should tag along. Sure, why not? After a campfire song, Najara reveals an escaped slave brought her news of Marat's impending raid the following morning. Xena begins questioning this woman, so the Jinn Whisperer allows the warrior princess to lead the army into battle. Don't trust her too soon, Gabrielle. The next morning it's quiet. Too quiet. Xena heads into the village alone, and soon hears a commotion. The signal is launched, and the battle begins. Xena and Najara make quite the tag team inside, while Gabrielle leads the fight outside. Marat's men drop like flies in this excellent fight sequence. Somersault from the roof! Uh-oh, an arrow is going directly at our bard! Nice catch. After the darkness falls, Najara gives the slave traders a shot at redemption and celebrates with the villagers. Oh no, not this visual again. What's up with that short-haired wig? Great, the Jinn know about this. Xena ponders if this vision is preventable. It is, but it'll take drastic changes. The next task is to liberate another village Marat uses as a center for his slave trade. Najara takes Gabrielle's hand for bird watching. Uh-oh. Xena watches from afar as Gabrielle questions if she's on the right path in her life. Najara says a full commitment to the light is what's right, whether in a hospice or alongside the warrior princess. Xena is not amused. In the evening, Najara goes over the X's and O's to save the village. While they do that, Xena will head to Marat HQ east of the village and beat him down some. Gabrielle, she's going alone, and that's final. Najara has achieved Zen. But Xena must step in. The warrior princess asks the Jinn Whisperer to set up a hospice in the village so Gabrielle has someplace to stay. Wait, you can't leave your friend? Xena tearfully laments hurting Gabrielle, so she entrusts Najara with the bard's life. What do you mean goodbye, Gabrielle? The next day, Najara announces the opening of a new hospice and encourages anyone to turn to the light, including these slave traders. Gabrielle is ready to do so herself. Meanwhile, Xena has captured Marat before he even woke up. However, she is shocked to discover what Najara really does to her captives. Execute them if they don't turn to the light after 3 days. That's all Xena needed. After Gabrielle accepts the light, the ceremony is interrupted. Najara says she doesn't execute the captives without a fair trial, she liberates their souls. She also notes that Gabrielle is her responsibility now, and okay, Xena's had enough of this crap. The two warriors engage in a vicious battle. Hey, didn't we see this in the Sintrade saga? Eventually, Xena uses stilts to her advantage, sending Najara crashing through this debris. But Najara hulks up and beats Xena like a government mule. One of the Sintrade visions came true. Xena lost. The warrior princess spits out a tooth and takes solace in a crucial discovery. Najara shares her own weakness. Gabrielle is indignant. The Eternal Forces correct any mistakes she makes when sending evil people to the light, she says. Suddenly, a commotion occurs outside the cave. Heh, amateur. It's okay, Gabrielle, she only lost a good chewing tooth. Xena tosses a rock down below. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. Najara returns to find out she sucks at being responsible. Great, Xena has snapped, and Gabrielle is about to be burned. If the warrior princess can't have her friend, no one will. Jumping sidekick! With Najara visibly distracted, Xena takes full control of the duel. Another sidekick sends Najara to the edge of the abyss. Before Xena can smash her widow fingers off to her doom, Gabrielle asks for Najara's life to be spared. Okay. The ruse has worked! Najara ends the episode by telling Xena she never told Gabrielle about the crucifixion vision since that would hurt our young bard. And that's Xena's job. That bit. An important episode that touches on Xena and Gabrielle's search for meaning after the events from the Season 3 finale. At first, I really disliked seeing Xena defeated, but the rematch did a good job justifying it. The visions from Sintrade are interwoven well here, and Catherine Morris pulls off an excellent performance as the supposed savior. We're gonna party like it's 1999. First episode of the year on January 4th was Past Imperfect, another episode written by Sears and directed by the returning Garth Maxwell. Oh, not again. Xena has finally told Gabrielle about the horrific vision. The young bard is having none of this crap and commands to accompany Xena to Actus, a town in danger of being invaded. Upon their arrival, the two heroines notice a severe lack of defense measures around the perimeter. General Lachlan, leader of the army of Actus, reports that half of the men are diseased, but it's about to get worse. Huge flaming projectiles scatter the area, taking out the general and several of the villagers. Xena saves this little girl, but not before enduring a big bump that causes her to freeze. More from Xena's past is revealed, as evil Xena is launching flaming projectiles of her own during the Battle of Corinth. Hey look, it's Dagnan! Mark Ferguson and Martin Chokash both reprised their roles in this latest trip down memory lane. Xena wants the Ixion Stone, because with it, Alti has promised to make her the Destroyer of Nations. As for these prisoners, Boreas recommends keeping them alive, since they aren't at war with the Centaurs. Back to the future, we see the exact moment donning the cover of the Season 4 DVD collection from Anchor Bay. Xena says the army attacking Actus is trapping its citizens exactly like her army did against the Corinthians. The result? A shortage of supplies for the ill and injured. The warrior princess explains that by this point, she and Boreas had split the army, and the dissension is evident back in the past. Satrina, played by the returning Catherine Boniface from Season 3, isn't allowed to be commanded by Boreas anymore. The Hungarian wants to invade Athens, but Xena is still focused on the Ixion Stone. Uh-oh, she's due any time now. Boreas suggests for them to wait until after the birth of their son to continue the quest. Stop saying we. Satrina recalls a strategy used by her former master, Demeus, poisoning the grains of the opposition and then attacking when the men were weakened through underground tunnels. In the present, General Auckland is dead. To make matters worse, the second in command has no battle experience, and Actus's grains have been poisoned. The plan: get everyone available to secure the town's water supply at this dam. While our bard and the rest of the army work to draw out an ambush, the flashback continues. This river to Corinth is duly noted by evil Xena, who wants answers from these centaurs. Jareed says they are under the command of Callisto, another familiar name. Boreas releases the centaurs without their weapons to send word about a peace treaty. These Corinthian soldiers shall also be sending a message back home. Dagnan takes them out one by one and tosses their dead bodies into the river. In the present, it's an ambush! If the soldiers don't fall in the water, they end up worse off. Suddenly, Xena realizes she has been outsmarted by her own tactics. And uh-oh, a snowy mountain! The young bard once again denies this vision before we shift back to the past. Xena's pregnancy is nearing its end, and Boreas wants to make sure the baby does not become a target. Dagnan then informs them about a successful meeting with Callisto. Or was it? Paul Giddis returns to reprise his role from Orphan of War, as the centaurs have been tied down against Boreas' wishes. The centaurs declare war, but all Xena is concerned with is fulfilling the prophecy of the shamaness. After she dumps Boreas for good, he springs into action to protect the centaurs. During the battle, a dagger thrown by Xena is deflected by Boreas' sword, but nails one of Callipo's eyes. So that's how he ended up with that eye patch. Xena is now at war with Boreas and his new allies, vowing to crucify them all. Crucify them! Crucify! Back in the present, Xena informs Gabrielle of her own tactics being used against them. So how does the warrior princess defeat herself? Risk these men to save Gabrielle? Nah, our bard is gonna reinforce the men, and that's final. Vision or no vision. In the evening, Xena sneaks her way into this here moist cave. An underground tunnel? Suddenly she is shot with a poison arrow. As she inspects the projectile, she is in labor back in the past. Satrina offers a Santra potion to ease the pain and Kala root once the baby is born. The warrior princess then recognizes traces of Santra on the arrow. Satrina! She was there learning from the best the whole time, and now she wants to avenge Demeus, who was not only her mentor, but her lover. The flashback resumes as Boreas' army attacks evil Xena HQ. But he doesn't want to kill her. For the sake of their son, he wants to take her with him. Back outside, Satrina is neutralized by Boreas, who reveals that the centaurs have allowed him to retrieve Xena and his son. She says she'll help him, but she lied. Her destiny is an empire, and having the Hungarian around would interfere in her desire to learn all she can under Xena. Boreas breaks free, but Satrina gets Dagnan to believe the Hungarian wants Xena's head. Boreas valiantly battles for his family on a bad wheel, while his son is born back in the tent. Both the mother and father simultaneously endure sharp pains during this sequence. A nice visual representation of their ongoing connection. Baby Solon is here, but Boreas' time nears its end in front of his allies. The Hungarian barely catches a glimpse of his new son before taking his final breath. Xena is visibly shaken, but they have no time to lose. In the present, Xena couldn't believe Boreas actually came back for her. Now, it's personal. Having taken some Kala root before entering the cave, Xena restrains Satrina with a rope. The warrior princess decides not to kill the traitor before both of their armies brawl. The freed Satrina pulls this rope to collapse the cave, but a quick chakram toss preserves the structure. Did Satrina make it? Who knows? At a campfire, Xena recalls the love Boreas had for her and baby Solon before a familiar scene from the past begins. The exact moment Xena gave up her son to Callisto in order to prevent Solon from becoming like his mother. This is a wonderful recreation of the original flashback from Orphan of War. Callisto vows to raise the boy as his own, and Xena walks away heartbroken. The episode ends with our jet black-haired heroine in tears. Another home run from the mind of Stephen L. Sears. Boreas' final moments and the reshooting of Xena leaving Solon with the centaurs are some of the most emotionally driven scenes of the series. A quality 45 minutes of storytelling all around. And now, everybody's favorite episode from Season 4. The Key to the Kingdom, written by Eric Morris, premiered the following week. This was the second and final episode of the series, directed by none other than Bruce Campbell. Hey, a ruby inside this room mired in prized possessions. It's almost begging to be, invaded by a thief. The King of Thieves returns, and his latest target is the ruby. In only 2 minutes, he defies the security measures and drops down to the window with the jewel. Suddenly, a wild Xena appeared, and look, her fluffy bunny hair from In Sickness and in Hell is back. Mystified by that familiar steely gaze, Autolycus tosses the ruby. What are you, stupid or something? It's Meg, sweet. Yes, Mr. Stinky, you tossed that precious gem over the wall for no good reason. Bro! Joxer and Meg are looking to snag the crown of Athena, but they'll need a key to get to the treasure. If Autolycus joins in, all three of them will get half. As you can see, the Mighty One cannot math. Mr. Stinky is in, but only if they do things his way. Alright, give me the money! Soon enough, the hooligans suffer the wrath of Xena! I really love this sequence. Meg gets in the castle, and Autolycus agrees to keep his hands off Joxer's girl, for a larger sum of the profits, of course. During a tour of the security arrangements, Meg opens this window so Autolycus can join the party. X. Great, the guards found him.
Web swing!
Alright, the chest with the key! And it's a baby. Wait, the baby is the key? Guards! Aw man, Smeckledorfed. After the assassin is taken away, Xena is having none of this alliance crap because this castle's security measures suck. She also kidnaps the baby. Scythian double latch locks, not Autolycus's forte. Hey look, it's King Leus! Griffia, guardian of the key, demands to know why the assassin would steal the baby. The king explains that the woman who isn't really Xena stole it, and the guardian storms off. Autolycus then receives a clue. The key will point to the door, to the crown of Athena and more. Once the key opens the door, the child will be no more. And now for a carefully planned technique for the king to escape his incarceration. He runs right into this jail cell and knocks himself out. Great stuff. In a barn, Joxer is shocked that Meg would use he and Autolycus to kidnap the baby, but she didn't lie. She just tricked ya. As Joxer the father goes off for supplies, Meg can't wait to settle down with the best baby, the first baby, the only baby she's ever had. Look, it's like she's playing a shooting game in the arcades. Mr. Stinky is not amused. Look out, she has a shamrock! Fatality. Pumpkin has had enough of this crap. A highly entertaining sequence begins as the entire world looks for the baby. Joxer gets punched around, Otto punches around goons, and Meg avoids getting smashed, but Pumpkin leaves the area with Argos. Follow that chariot! As Meg and Otto chase after Pumpkin, Joxer's got a plan. Jump in from that tree. Stay on target, and oh, he missed. Jox drag. When these two reach the chariot, Meg hops on, but Pumpkin knows they're screwed. Just kidding, they're alive. So the baby has been rescued from a loveless life in a dreaded castle. How shall he be adequately raised? With the crown of Athena, of course. Meg then has a moment with Pumpkin and shares exactly why she has rescued the little baby. All she wants is to make sure he gets everything she didn't as a kid, a happy and stable family life, like all those lights in the sky. This is actually a wonderful scene that gives Meg's character some more depth. Nicely done. The next day, these three contemplate what that clue from King Leus could possibly mean. As Meg changes the new Mr. Stinky's diaper, Autolycus discovers the key, a map illustrating where the crown is. Behold, the cushion. But don't let Pumpkin there, he'll be no more. Great guards. Joxer fumbles around with Autolycus' hook as only he can, while the king tries to hold the cavalry back. That's not boxing, you're supposed to bite the ear! Oh no, Pumpkin sat on the cushion! But instead of a spontaneous combustion, the door to the crown opens, and the baby morphs into King Cleiades. Uh-oh, Kryptos and his goons are here. Autolycus and Pumpkin make quite the tag team, but that bastard has the crown. Suddenly, the real warrior princess cuts in. Thank goodness Gryphia called for Xena's help. Cleiades explains that he took his people for granted, so Athena turned him into a child to see the error of his ways. Pumpkin thanks his mama and papa for showing him love, and everyone is in on destroying Kryptos. Stunts. Meg and Joxer hilariously fumble around each other, and Autolycus bashes goons with vases. He even uses a chain like it was a pair of nunchakus. Xena and Cleiades take these two bozos down, but the king merely sentences them to live in exile. And as for the crown, Cleiades says it was always intended for his queen, Gryphia. Ah, so the king was made young, and the queen was made old. As Joxer tears up, Meg is left without a baby. This affects her deeply, because she is unable to bear any children. The warrior princess assures her that there simply has to be a spot in a loving family for Meg, with how much love she has in her heart. Bruce Campbell has noted that this episode was once placed in a top 10 list for worst Xena episodes of all time. Sure, there was no Gabrielle, but one of the worst installments? Do not concur. The comedy in this one is as entertaining as it gets with these three involved, and the two scenes where Meg spills her heart out are very well done. The key to the kingdom may not be art, but I like it. Next is Daughter of Pomira, written by Linda McGibney and directed by Patrick Norris from January 18th. Xena is slicing and dicing baddies in the moonlit wilderness. Suddenly, one of her men says they should retreat. To Tartarus with that, she replies, ending him fast. Remember how she decided not to retreat? She lied. It was another flashback, this time pertaining to a previous battle against the Horde prior to Season 2's The Price. These two may now know about Kaltaka and the Code of Honor, but there's still a long way to go. Our two heroines notice a rare blonde Horde girl in the distance. Xena believes she's seen her before, and then this Horde member is taken out. The killer, Milo, loves the smell of Horde's blood in the morning. Xena uses the chakram to prevent the little girl's death. As the warrior princess and history buff introduce themselves, Gabrielle discovers a sling with Roman symbolism on it. Turns out the Horde members got it from Xena herself. The heroines then visit one of the men from Xena's army that survived this battle from the flashback, Rawl and his wife Aja. These two are the parents of the blonde Horde girl, whom they call Vanessa. After 6 long years, these two want her back. Feeling indebted to them for her vicious past, Xena agrees to rescue Vanessa.
Chicken.
Milo is down with hunting Horde, but Xena is having none of his crap. She expresses her concerns about bringing Vanessa back, but Gabrielle asserts that the little girl deserves to be with her family. Later that evening, they avoid being spotted by the Horde in the trees as the underground hideout is revealed. Behold, Horde Xena. Kaltaka. The little girl screams at the sound of her birth name, alerting the rest of the Horde. Xena pinches the throat and takes the girl for a run. The warrior princess hates small spaces. With the horde closing in, Xena uses the chakram to create a wall of rocks. Look at Gabrielle waiting for her friend. Boo! Xena places the sling on the ground, and upon finding it, the horde leader lets out a piercing scream. Back with Gabrielle, the little girl is having none of this Vanessa crap, preferring to be called Pali. She says the horde aren't the horde, they're the Pomira, led by Cervic. Xena concludes that Pali isn't a slave, she's Cervic's adopted daughter. But forget the leader's agony, her biological family needs her back. The next day, this lad still doesn't get it. Soon enough, it's a family reunion. Pali resists, scratching her father on the cheek and proclaiming herself to be the daughter of Cervic. Hang the girl, says Milo, but that would be stupid. Instead, Xena opts for total annihilation of the horde. Gabrielle urges Raul to give his daughter a chance, but his decision stands. My Vanessa's gone. Or is she? The little girl recognizes her childhood doll, but her father's contempt for the horde knows no bounds. As Milo and the soldiers are spoiling for a fight, Xena informs Gabrielle that her bloodthirsty strategy is only to draw out the horde and use Vanessa to play peacemaker. From there, whichever side the little girl chooses, they must honor it. Well, we may not have to wait that long for her choice. Just kidding, Pali doesn't kill them. As she makes her way up a ladder, Milo thinks he actually has her this time. The warrior princess asks the little girl to act as a bridge between both sides so nobody gets hurt. We then find out why Cervic was so hurt when Pali was taken from him. He adopted her after his biological daughter was killed. And now he's here to collect. The gates are opened, and here is the peace offering. Damn it, Milo, when will you learn, jabroni? The warrior princess battles the bloodthirsty lad in a back and forth exchange. Both land jumping sidekicks and furious left and rights. After this takedown, Milo has a dagger! Oh no, he got her. Just kidding, he's dead. So who does Vanessa choose? Both! The daughter of Pomira asks her mother to hold on to her doll until she returns, and Cervic declares there shall be no war. The episode ends with Gabrielle as the real hero of the day because of her faith in love and family. I must admit that I was disappointed with this episode after my initial viewing of it a while back, since my expectations were so high after the price. However, watching it again has helped me gain a greater appreciation for it. Given their shared history with the little girl, Cervic's piercing reaction to Pali being gone, and Raul's contempt for the Pomira are both very believable. The dynamic between each side as Vanessa adjusts to having both of them in her life is also done really well. Check this one out, you may be surprised. If the Shoe Fits, another episode written by the duo of Armis and Foster and directed by Becker. You know where this is going. Holy Potadia! Xena hates birds interrupting her sleep. She better find some rope, or else a warlord named Xantar will wreak havoc. Hey, somebody snatched the money bra. I bet it was Joxer. Look, it's that one lad from Warrior, Priestess, Tramp! Xantar proclaims he'll never return to that stinking jail, and he spoke too soon. The warlord is captured by the money bra. Oh, it was Xena. Poor Gabrielle is forced to wear a sack. Wake up, idiot. Explosions. Holy Aphrodite! Aphrodite is back! And this time she is joined by Princess Alicia of Syra. Alicia desperately wants to be liberated from her evil fairy god's mother, Aphrodite. Voo. In this temple straight out of the Titans, the goddess of love says the little girl dislikes her new stepmother and came to her for help. Xena agrees to be Alicia's fairy godmother so they can return the little girl home. Meanwhile, the king's search for his daughter continues. The new queen is deeply affected by Alicia's dislike for her. Actually, the little princess hates her new mama and simply wants her to go away. Gab splash. Wait, Xena had a stepfather? The warrior princess sets off to take care of Xantar's reinforcements while our young bard tells the little princess a story. Gabrielle tells the tale of Tyrella, her stepsister Pelia, and their wicked stepmother. In a homage to Cinderella, a funny quarrel over Pelia's ruined Calvinius Clinius occurs. For Tyrella's carelessness, she shall complete her most important duty: stepmama's clippings! Meanwhile, Aphrodite misses the little monster so much, her own reflection convinces herself to go find Alicia and make her the demi-goddess of puppy love. Hey, it's Zoe Bell. Xantar's miscreants are totally tricked by Argo's hoofprints. Tyrella stabs her stepmother over and over and over and over again. The sound effects during Alicia's physical expression of this are great. Actually, Tyrella psychologically owns her evil family members. Okay, here's what really happened. The stepmother was desired by many men, Pelia was as dry as a lizard, and Tyrella was missing some teeth. Joxerman breaks the news of a royal party, and Pelia dances to the same tune that played during the Three Naked Gabrielles segments. This scene is brilliant. Dead fish. So did Tyrella go to that party? Joxer will answer that for us, but not before Aphrodite offers Xantar's dweebs an ultimatum. Get the little girl away from Xena, and they'll get their warlord back. In the mighty version of the story, Tyro is being abused by his stepfather and stepbrother. His sack-wearing ass will not be going to the royal ball tonight, until his fairy godmother, Harmonia, arrives to give him all the skills he needs to ball. At the gala event, Tyro borrows Autolycus' facial hair and immediately earns the princess's attention. T-Money's real-life ball dancing skills are on display as he continues taking his dance partner's breath away. And then, it's disco time! Tyro the Mighty tears it up on the dance floor, to the delight of the princess. Now they're singing a duet! This entire scene is really entertaining. Sadly, our hero loses his mojo and is forced to bounce. Oh great, Joxer made Alicia run for the hills. As Xena searches for the little princess, this elder lady has been attacked by men down by the river! Gabrielle goes after those bastards, and Aphrodite returns with Joxer. Xantar says he can help the goddess of love find her would-be demigoddess, so she knocks out the mighty one with a kiss. Oh, that's not good. When she is saved, the princess says the only message in Joxer's story was run. Now, Xantar is on the run with Aphrodite. To the castle! On the way over, Xena takes over storytelling duties. In her version, Tyrella doesn't take crap from her stepfamily, who are a bunch of pantomimes. The mighty prince arrives looking to wed the woman who fits into this shoe, but Tyrella says she doesn't need this fairy tale nonsense to get what she wants out of life. When the pantomimes cut and run, Tyrella's god's sister tells her all about their nefarious scheme. Now go take care of the dishes, will ya? Ooh, Xena's in the doghouse for that one. The little princess has come back home in time for her parents to be rescued. Xantar and his minions have the crown jewels, so while Xena goes off to fight them, Alicia's fairy godmother orders her and her stepmother to talk. Holy Aphrodite! Our young bard tells the goddess of love to let the royal family work out their differences themselves. And they do, with their Kiwi accents adorably noticeable in spots. So you're 10 times the sidekick Gabrielle is, huh? How about now? As Xena takes the fight to Xantar and his miscreants, intermittent shots of Tyrella rescuing the prince from her stepfamily cut in. Even the god's sister gets in on the action. I love this. With the baddies neutralized, Alicia gets her happy ending, sort of, and Aphrodite convinces the little princess to give her stepmother a chance. The episode ends with everyone getting a big ol' hug in the name of family. Another fantastic episode from Becker and Company. Each version of the Cinderella tale is hysterical, with the added bonus of seeing the main cast portray opposing characteristics throughout. One of the most fun offerings of the season. Go watch it again and again. Paradise Found, another episode written by Mannheim, was the first to premiere in February 1999 on the 1st. Making his second appearance in the series as the director was the executive producer himself, Rob Tappert. Rain! Ooh, what do we have here? Our recently bathed bard is stitching up this gnarly gash on the warrior princess's leg in a holy place. She sustained this cut during a battle with some goons on their way to India, and she isn't pleased with Gabrielle's sailor hands. What? Okay, Xena, you really need to stop seeing this crap. There's a noise off in the distance. While our bard goes off to investigate, the warrior princess senses that something is wrong. A big hole! Why not jump in there? Down below, Gabrielle is unharmed, and so is Xena. Even her gash is gone. Flower sniff. So if this isn't Illusia, what is it? A lad named Gar appears, informing him that a guy named Aiden is the only one who can help him get out of here. Look at this great shot of our two heroines making their way into Aiden's estate. Blue people doing yoga poses, huh? What does this mean? Inner peace, says Aiden. Jeremy Roberts returns after his initial appearance as Thersites from Season 1's A Fistful of Dinars. Anybody can achieve inner peace, no matter how tough it may be. Xena isn't into all this peace and love stuff, but who can resist a night of good food, fine wine, and a warm bath? Gabrielle just spanked her ass, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, another hot tub scene. During the massage, Xena agrees to give Aiden a chance since he helped heal her leg. Gabi-san must breathe where everything stops. No breath, no life. Our bard is ready for the next step, even if unresolved feelings come up. As Xena once again achieves Zen through the power of Tai Chi Tran, or Tai Ke Kun in Cantonese, these incredible visuals of the yoga between O'Connor and Roberts grace the screen. Don't forget to breathe, Gabi-san. Uh-oh, unresolved feelings from Gabrielle's hope! Aiden urges her to come to terms with whatever pain she has, and then release it, much like he did after he lost his wife and child. She must heal herself before she can heal the world. Suddenly, Xena's peace is interrupted by unbridled aggression, yelling at these chirping birds to shut up! The yoga resumes, but more bad memories from maternal instincts leave Gabrielle in tears. This sudden burst of emotions can really happen out of nowhere during a yoga session. This is some real stuff here. Well, looks like Aiden got a little too close to Gabrielle for Xena's liking. Remember how I said that this was my favorite shot of the series? Gabrielle on this frickin' Zen bed is number 2. Gee, Xena, chill. Our bard is fascinated with this inner peace, but the warrior princess isn't after seeing this movie before with Lao Ma. Ah, screw it, one more day won't kill him. It's been said before, but how adorable does she look when she sleeps? Look, Xena's gash is back. And now it's gone. The next day, Gabrielle is feeling even lighter. Aiden explains the ill effects of one not coming to terms with their dark side. Delusions, spontaneous bleeding, changes in appearance. Holy Amphipolis. Gabrielle can show you the way, Xena, but instead, our bard gets her hand crushed. Or maybe not. Delusions. The warrior princess has had enough of this stillness crap, but the pinch doesn't do a damn thing. Aiden says there's nothing she can do about her delusions now, except the only thing that can keep Gabrielle safe. Leave immediately. Great, there's the spontaneous bleeding. Gabrielle has a knot in her back. As Xena takes care of the problem, the bleeding worsens, and no, don't do it! Xena bids her friend farewell. Nice medallion. Don't make her come after you, Gar. You won't like it when she's mad. She eventually gets Gar to explain what happened to his platoon. Unlike him, they bought into Aiden's stillness crap and ended up as statues. To beat this monster, Xena decides to fight the light with every ounce of her darkness. Change in appearance. Xena launches the chakram straight at Aiden, but feeding off of Gabrielle's stillness makes things rather difficult. Xena, you better come up with something fast. Our bard is turning blue! His weakness is soon revealed. Keep him away from his power source. Xena does exactly that with a kick and prepares her sword for Gar? At last, Gabrielle wakes up, creating the open Xena needed to finish Aiden off. With his defeat, the discount Illusia dissolves around our heroines, returning them to the holy place. Gar is finally free to return to his family. Maybe Xena's dark side isn't so bad after all. Despite Robert Tappert's qualms with this episode, including the blood drop sequence and the evil Xena teeth, I really like this installment. These shots with the statues are some of the coolest from a cinematic standpoint, and the dynamic between good and evil is presented with gusto. Zenbed. Ah, the India saga. First up on February 8th was Devi, written by Mannheim and once again directed by Maxwell. India is unlike anything our two heroines have seen before. Look, a yoga master! Gabrielle is loving every bit of this land. Hey, a magic show! Timothy Amundsen makes his debut as Eli, a street magician about to send his assistant Maya into the land of the spirits. Xena isn't so sure about that rope trick, so Gabrielle pushes her to prove its validity. Well, it seems legit, doesn't it? Maya ascends the rope, and with a great Dahak, she has gone to the spiritual land. When Eli commands her to return back to Oit, she does, but in pieces. Don't panic, lads. With a great spear, Maya is revived. But now she's possessed. Xena flips over to the stage and sends Maya crashing through debris. However, each tumble only intensifies her possessed state. It isn't until Gabrielle rushes over to the belligerent assistant that the spirit finally leaves her body. Fear not, a higher power has prevailed, conqueror of all demons. The Devi, the healing deity herself, Gabrielle. Eli is met with hostility as he is accused of bringing demons with him by the priest, Vikram. Great time to bounce! The warrior princess and the magician teleport to this temple, and Eli makes it his mission to find out how Gabrielle performed the exorcism. Meanwhile, the town praises their new Devi. As our bard discourages this, a partially blind man named Ravi suddenly regains his vision. Xena is getting sleepy. Swords for the Devi! Xena is not sleepy. Eli recalls saving his father's best friend from a series of convulsions at the tender age of 13. This power to work miracles hits home for the magician, so he wants to learn to use it to ease people's suffering. Suddenly, Vikram arrives, who has his own questions about what he witnessed in the town. Massage time. Good spirit or bad spirit, Gabrielle finally possesses an ability of her dreams. The power to heal. Xena wants to do yoga? Right. Surely the town has forgotten about yesterday by now. Nope. Gabrielle loves their adoration. Back at the temple, Vikram is dead. Eli didn't do it, but he was the only one there. Slow motion Devi walk. The warrior princess demands the magician to stay put while she investigates. He is such a good listener. His reward, rabid dogs. Eli runs into Xena, and a fun dog chase sequence begins. It isn't until the magician runs into the Devi and her pearls that the dogs finally stop. Eli begs for Gabrielle to heal him, and somehow, through the power of levitation, she does. Or did she? The solution to all the evil around them. Sacred water from the Ganges. The evil includes Tataka, who cured many sick and deformed people, only to send them to the god Rama for slaughter. A real pearl. Pearls? Later that night, the sacred water infuriates our bard. But it doesn't burn her, since it wasn't in the hands of a priest or exorcist. Oh great, now Ravi is possessed. Head scissor takeover! Nice. Only one thing can stop this demon. Eli uses the sacred water, and he burns. Gabrielle is not the Devi, Eli. You are. The jet black-haired heroine tells our bard that Eli is in need of some more healing. But he isn't as badly hurt as Ravi. Tataka. The mere sound of her name activates the demon. Damn it, Eli, there will be an exorcism and it must happen before Tataka kills Xena. Step 1. Avoid detection. Step 2. Find an icon. Gabrielle's quill. Step 3. Free our bard from that evil spirit inside her. Tataka kicks the icon and water out of Xena's hands. The spirit overpowers the warrior princess, landing several vicious shots. Facing death by spikes, Xena fights her way back. No, don't kill her! Eli's here. Tataka charges straight at him, but Xena corkscrew jumps her way into pinching our bard. With Abba's help, the exorcism is successful. The episode ends with Eli bidding farewell to our two heroines as he sets off solo on a quest to find out more. Fantastic episode! Amundsen shines from the jump in his debut, cementing Eli as a memorable character in the series. Him saying he doesn't think he's alone before departing was a good way to tease his future appearances. The fight between Tataka and Xena provides a surreal moment of two dear friends duking it out, even if one of them was possessed. Between you and me, this is what I was expecting during my initial viewing of The Bittersweet. The adventures in India continued a week later with Between the Lines, the second episode of the season written by Sears and directed by Jacobson. What we sow in this life, we reap in our future lives. This is our karma. Our jet black-haired heroine has a new outfit, and she could do spin kicks in it. Not bad. I wonder who that is. There appears to be a funeral pyre today, and this woman shall also be burned. What? Xena flips her way into an explanation. Her husband has died, and the law says she is to join him on the other side. The cavalry arrives, but they are crushed. Xena does not fear the spear. When the odds stack up, our two heroines escort Naima to a temple without any windows. The widow proves to be extraordinary, using her mystic powers to send Xena to the future? Upon her arrival, she is referred to as Armenestra by the warlord, Kindin. Indeed, in this lifetime, Xena is Armenestra, the mother of peace. Before the warlord's army kills all the men in town, a giant fireball cuts in. Armenestra's forces arrive and fight back, led by Shakti. When the mother grabs hold of the warlord, her real identity is revealed. Alti, yes. In a far cry from her appearance in the Sin Trade 2-parter, the shamaness now possesses brute strength on the Earth plane, killing dozens. Alti nails Shakti with an arrow, but he survives and escapes with Armenestra. Xena, the great warrior in the body of Armenestra the Peacemaker. She's mine. Back in the present past, Gabrielle demands Naima to explain where Xena is. Instead, the widow shows her. This poor lad is experiencing the torment of 1,000 lifetimes thanks to Alti. The shamaness is hell-bent on capturing Xemanestra to achieve her goal of becoming the new destroyer of nations. Naima says the universe has several lines working together to achieve totality. Our bard learns that a great evil hunts Xena's soul in the future, posing a huge threat to the karmic cycle of the warrior princess. That's all Gabrielle needed. She shall learn the Mindy. Back to the future, Xena stops Shakti's bleeding with the pinch to his pleasant surprise. As she tells him to fight on, Gabrielle is given the task of returning that great evil to the past present, or present past, so it can be destroyed. Remember, Gabi-san, the Mindy shall be in that wall. Our bard is sent to the future before these baddies barge in. Short-haired Gabrielle? Long-haired Gabrielle. Wait, Shakti? Yes, that's Gabrielle. How about that? The warrior princess is a peacemaker, and the bard of Podadia is a competent warrior. Xena instantly recognizes her friend when some of Alti's traits are brought up in their discussion. The plan: rescue all of the innocents from Kindin. They better hurry, because she's about to sacrifice one of them. Xena offers Alti a deal. Let the girl go, and the question of how Xena got here will be answered. Deadly sleeper holds! As Gabrielle moves in with Armenestra's forces, Alti has no time for patience. Who sent you, Xena? Shaktiel has had enough of this crap and starts the battle. Xena frees the innocents, and how cool is it to see Gabrielle expertly using a sword? the Mendi! Alti points her next arrow at Gabrielle, but the Mother of Peace can't let that happen. Problem is, she also can't kill. This cruel fact cost this lad his life, and our bard is KO'd. Now under Alti's watch, the shamaness declares they shall die at the stakes. Now if only she didn't leave the room. Our two heroines take this time to paint the Mendi designs all over their skin. Without question, one of the most memorable sequences of the show's run. As the stakes are prepared in the future, Naima is about to join her husband in the present past.
It's Judgment Day.
In the nick of time, our two heroines return and save the widow. But it's about to get ugly. Alti, still possessing her enhanced strength from the future, resumes using Xena's past to inflict damage. The giant tree from Destiny, Milo's shots from Pomira, kicks from Callisto, impact from When in Rome, even blows from the Deliverer. Gabrielle gives it all she's got, but she's easily overpowered and flipped over. And now, Alti's finishing move, sharing Xena's vision of our two heroines being crucified with Gabrielle. For that, her legs are broken again. And now, Gabrielle bleeds from being nailed on the cross. Xena frees her friend from the hair vice grip, but Alti sends the chakram back, and with some help from maternal instincts, okay, how bloodthirsty can you get, Mr. Tappert? You must be the Darshan! Naima sends Alti halfway to Tartarus. The shamaness's enemy is not the widow, says Xena, it's the Mendi. With this, the power is harnessed by all three of these ladies against Alti. Mendi Chakrams! Mercifully, it's over. The good news is Alti was defeated at her most powerful. The bad news is her soul will return over and over again. Naima uses the power of the Mendi to completely heal our two heroines. And then... I understand Rock wanted a visual change to represent Gabrielle's maturation process as a character, but I was not, and still am not, a fan of this. I like long-haired Gabrielle, damn it! Personal tastes aside, the episode overall is really good. Claire Stansfield once again shines as the more powerful Alti, and the concepts of reincarnation and karma are introduced beautifully. One last thought, those Mendi chakrams are super cool. And now we get to the controversy. The Way, written by Stewart and directed by John Fawcett from February 22nd. The producers of the following episode took liberties with Hindu deities and historical timelines, but their sole intent was to illustrate the beauty and power of the Hindu religion. Xena says maybe violence isn't the answer to everything, but it is a way to get fish out of the water. Actually, it's a masked man who was ordered to stop our two heroines from reaching the Avatar, a deity in human form. These bugs multiply, and so do the masked men. Xena and Gabrielle take them out, to this jumpy one's chagrin. So who doesn't want our heroines anywhere near the Avatar? A bad guy, of course. The King of Demons, Indrajit. At a campfire, Xena laments briefly losing focus and getting cut on the arm by one of the demons. With the visions of her future as a peacemaker, she ponders if her blunder signifies the start of her decline as a warrior. The next morning, the Avatar is drawing quite the crowd. Cast all hate and violence away from your heart. Brother Eli! This father asks the Devi if he can save his daughter from a severe fever. Eli takes hold of the young girl and lives up to his name. But upon seeing his old friends, he decides to bounce. Eli says that despite initially longing for the power to heal others, possessing it now terrifies him. With the King of Demons roaming the area, our two heroines accompany the Devi on a trip to the coast. Whoa! Who is that? Xena pounds him relentlessly, but she is no match for his bear hug. A truce is declared, and we are introduced to Hanuman, whose only intention is to protect the Avatar from the King of Demons. He suggests to head to the Great Temple of Krishna, where Eli will be most safe. But it won't be easy, since Indrajit's minions are everywhere. Hanuman explains everything he learned about the King of Demons, while assisting the god Rama in conquering Indrajit's father. Meanwhile, Gabrielle asks Eli what the truth is. It's life, he replies, and it must be revered if they want to bring peace to the world. To revere life, one must diligently do their part to end the cycle of violence. Xena-san, for every person, there can only be one way. Do not get stuck between two. Uh-oh, there's Indrajit. I really like this slow motion sequence of the townsfolk begging Eli to take away their pain. Wonderful camera work. The people are commanded to seek shelter immediately, for fighting against the King of Demons would bring much damage to their souls. Behold, Krishna and the Great Temple. Hanuman deduces Gabrielle's inner conflict after learning about the truth from Eli. No, it's not telepathy. He's been following the Avatar for weeks. The truth is the ultimate way, explains Hanuman, and the very few that follow it truly walk with the spirit. Come on, lad, you need to get your daughter to safety. Oh shoot, it's a demon. Eli, Gabrielle, and Hanuman head back outside as Xena once again struggles a bit before kicking ass. Suddenly, he's here via flying carpet. Indrajit. And great, he's got Eli. You better run fast, Gabrielle. Fantastic, he got her too. Hanuman says they are in the demon land of Lanka. That's all Xena needed. Before she leaves, she learns that in order for Krishna to appear, he must be called by someone who doesn't have much consideration for godhood in general. The warrior princess must pray. Meanwhile in Lanka, Eli stays true to the way of non-violence. Patience, Gabi-san. This is a spiritual war. Look within, Xena-san. Krishna is in every living being. As Xena prays, Eli and Gabrielle meditate. Indrajit appears, offering an alliance between him and the latest Avatar. But we all know that's not gonna happen. In response, the King of Demons threatens to torture our bard. Wow, he's here. Krishna says in order to defeat Indrajit, Xena must open her heart and embrace the way. The way of fighting as the ass-kicking warrior she's always been, but without attachment or hesitation. And should she need help, all she must do is call his name. Suddenly, Gabrielle hears her friend, but Eli recognizes this trap. She doesn't stay put and is set up for a chokeslam. Indrajit knows what Eli really fears is feeling other people's pain, offering full immunity of that if the Avatar joins the King of Demons. Still not happening. Out of nowhere, the chakram saves Gabrielle from surefire death. But now we have bigger problems. Indrajit grows extra arms. Xena puts up a valiant effort, but the odds are too much. She is hurled to the wall, where it actually gets more gruesome than the beating from between the lines. Not one, but Both of her arms are severed. I still recoil at the sight of this. Gabrielle, what are you doing? Xena calls for Krishna, and her prayer is answered. Behold, Kali, the four-armed goddess. With the odds evened up, the warrior princess and the king of demons engage in a spectacular battle on and off the ground. As Hanuman takes care of the reinforcements, Xena severs one of Indrajit's arms to send him tumbling down below. This leaves him wide open for his decapitation. Xena reverts back to her normal self with her arms intact. Safely back from Lanka, Eli is excited to share his message back home. He assures Gabrielle that she will be tested numerous times, but the way of love will help her redeem the world if she follows it with all her heart. The episode ends with her choice being abundantly clear. The staff is launched into the river. That's a tough one for me to accept in an otherwise solid offering from the series. Behind the scenes, the episode was met with a protest from then press secretary of the World Vaishnava Association, Tusta Krishnadas, in March of 1999. Xena was deemed as too arrogant in the presence of Krishna, and the idea of the god being, quote, at the beck and call of the proud and the faithless, unquote, did not sit well with this individual. One additional complaint was the fear of the god being perceived as a fictional character, thus devaluing those who believe in him. This was countered by many readers of Hinduism Today in June of 1999, who believed that Krishna and the way of love were portrayed with great care and respect by the producers. Also, the Indian film industry was noted for several of its films portraying deities in a fictional context. As a result of this controversy, the episode was pulled from the airwaves until a new version aired in August of 1999. This included a public service announcement with Lawless, O'Connor, and Hindu community activist Sunil Aghi in the end credits that was shot during the making of Season 5. This is the version you'll see on every Xena DVD and digital release. The Play's the Thing, written by the duo of Ashley Gable and Thomas A. Sweden and directed by Christopher Graves, was the only episode of March 1999 airing on the 15th. Xena and Gabrielle have achieved Zen. Wait, Xena's actually doing yoga? Gabrielle isn't able to focus for long because she has lost one of her favorite scrolls in the town of Piraeus. Go and get it, replies the warrior princess, while I go and help the prince in the town of Archon. While our bard reaches Piraeus, a drunken joxer is thrown out of a pub. Or maybe he wasn't drunk. Asking Gabrielle to go to a Sophocles play with him, I stand corrected, he is drunk. Suddenly, these two arrive with Gabrielle's lost scroll. Jennifer Ward Leland makes her second and final appearance as Zara, a producer of plays. Her associate, Milo, played by veteran Kiwi actor Mark Hadlow, makes some amusing faces throughout the episode. The producer saw so much greatness in the bard's writing, an alliance is offered to present a stage adaptation. Gabrielle hesitates at first, but an opportunity to share what she learned in India entices her to agree. Problem is, these two are con artists. Athens Academy Theater presents a whole crap ton of advertisements. And now, it's showtime at the Apollo! As soon as some renovations can be done, of course. Gabrielle, you should direct this play. That Xena crew was hinting at future episodes, weren't they? Look! A line for the next XenaCon! Actually, it's the auditions for the roles of Xena and Gabrielle. Finding a perfect bard proves to be difficult for our bard, but it doesn't take long to find a warrior princess. Or does it? Mighty Minya returns, finally having the chance to fulfill her lifelong dream of being Xena. Sorry Minya, the role has been cast, and she is not amused. Insults galore! This exchange is great. Hey, there's a centaur to play a centaur. Dustinus Hoofmanus. Wait, what do you mean you don't play four-legged creatures? Look at that face. She can see it now. Warlords coming to see her message of peace. Right. Speaking of warlords, Callisto the Conqueror demands 75% of the profits from Gabrielle's play. Problem is, another warlord named Thorax the Terrible was also guaranteed 75%. How does this math? Only if the play sucks. Gabi-san, paint house, side to side. Joxer has been promoted to producer! Gabrielle is having none of this crap. Until she finds out this will keep him out of her way. Wait dude, that's not an ocean. Alright, only one role left to cast. Who shall play the Bard of Podadia? Why not the Bard of Podadia? The first rehearsal is okay, but what the cast would really like is less talking and more head busting, and babes, and big lads, and showgirls. After Gabrielle achieves some zen, the rehearsal continues. Holy Polly. Joxer the producer has enacted some minor changes to the play, small really. They don't affect Gabrielle's vision whatsoever. After another disagreement, Gabrielle needs some input from an outside source. How about Sophocles? Turns out he's the lad from earlier who wants nothing but blood and shorter skirts for his play. The message is clear. More blood, more skin, more action, more weapons. And the critics? Kill 'em all. Zara and Milo are nervous about the changes, but all Gabrielle wants is more cash to deliver a show for the ages. The con artists have only one option: enlist the help of a longtime enemy of Xena's, Warlord Cleon. The first night has sold out. More blood and debauchery, demands the bard. Uh-oh, Cleon is in. Rehearsals are going smoothly to the delight of the investors. That simply won't do for these two. The original message of peace must be revived by telling the cast one of the warlords intends to use this new play as motivation for his army. It works, as Gabrielle cannot stand the idea of selling out. A Message of Peace, a Joxer production, is on. And great, he's been knocked out by Cleon. The other warlords arrive with their respective armies. Titillation, blood, and violence be damned. This shall be a peaceful evening. One issue. Somebody is being pretty violent backstage. Cleon hits the stage, but so does someone else. The real warrior princess hits the warlord with a somersault kick straight out of Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon. Turns out Zara is not only a con, but the queen of cons. The pestered warlords hit the stage, taking their beatings to the delight of the audience. Even Minya and Paulina are working together. And now, some interactive theater! Buffus the Buckeye Slayer across the street. Brilliant. Cleon is taken out, and end scene! The play has been a huge success. The episode ends with Dustinus wanting to direct, Minya coming to terms with being a thespian, and Joxer threatening to tell his brother about being left behind. Along with Vanishing Act, this episode is considered by Tapper to be one of his least favorites. However, much like its Season 3 counterpart, Plays the Thing has quite a few hysterical moments that make it worth watching at least once. Allison Wall is once again fantastic, and each reference to literature and popular culture of the time provide more than a few laughs. A familiar face would return in The Convert, written by Mannheim and directed by the returning Andrew Merrifield. This episode aired a day before 420 Day 1999. Bloodshed is rampant inside this temple, and only the warrior princess can stop the madness. This lad's final wishes are for these three to save the novitiates from Crichton and his goons. The warlord viciously beats down a woman before help arrives. Smoke compact? Nah, not feeling that. Since Gabrielle got rid of her staff, Xena has to improvise a bit with her whip to deliver these rapid spin kicks. Now this is cool. Najara? Joxer, look out! Joxer the Mighty has his first kill. His efforts have inadvertently saved Najara, who has broken out of prison. Xena decides to return Najara back to jail, while Joxer deals with the shock of taking someone's life. To his surprise, his accomplishment isn't met with hostility, it is celebrated. Najara claims she has changed, and Xena's the Queen of Egypt. Joxer the Drunken Mighty has two new problems: the rest of Crichton's gang and the warlord's son. But this time, the Mighty One shall personally tell Crichton's boy exactly what happened. As Gabrielle tends to Najara's injuries, we learn that what made the prisoner give up the sword for good was a visit from a man who traveled from India. A man who had a message of peace to end the cycle of violence. Brother Eli? The Jinn then aided her escape from captivity to this very moment. On the same path of love Gabrielle walks on. What a load of The ghost of Crichton begins haunting Joxer, egging him on to continue killing others. Xena says the guilt of killing never ceases, but setting the record straight with the warlord's son will do wonders for his psyche. Later that night, what the hell is this? The warrior princess shudders at the thought of Eli getting through to Najara. See? The next day, the mind games between these two begin. I've changed my whole life for Gabrielle, she says. You want to share a violent end with her, she says. Time for Joxer to meet Crichton's son, Arman. Sadly, this kid has a warped vision about his father, labeling him as Crichton the Courageous. Remember how Joxer said he'd tell this young man the truth? He lied. Instead, Xena tells him part of the story, and that's all Arman needed. Death to Dad's killer. Now would be a good time to tell him, Joxer. But of course he conjures up reasons why that is a horrible idea. Man, if Xena saw this, she'd kill both of these ladies. Najara rekindles the idea of starting a hospice, but Gabrielle says her place is with Xena. The rebuttal? The warrior princess will eventually hurt her best friend, and our bard will then have to make a choice. Xena or her own soul? This sneaky little bit. The murder weapon. Suddenly, this baddie shows up and asks if Joxer was the one who killed Crichton. The Mighty One responds with one of the famous quotes from my all-time favorite sports announcer, the late Chick Hearn. No harm, no foul. That chickism was a nice surprise. Both of these lads get KO'd, so Xena fends the intruder off. During supper, the jet black-haired heroine suggests for our bard to test the validity of Najara's life change claims by simply telling her no. Finally, Joxer tells Arman the truth. Not. Xena's face says it all. This supper sucks. Oh no, Najara is telling Armand everything! He tries his best to get revenge, but he is easily stopped. He finally lets Joxer off the hook, and Xena later assures him he's 100 times the man his father was. I really don't like how Gabrielle easily fell under Najara's spell any more than the warrior princess does here. Suddenly, Crichton's men are approaching fast. You are forgiven, mighty one. Now run with Armin while Xena takes care of the baddies. When she is momentarily stunned, Gabrielle tries to help, but Najara demands her to stay put. Well, what do you know? One no from our bard ended the facade. Now please kick her ass, Xena. The fight is taken high above the ground as the two rope sling, kick, scratch, and punch away for an advantage. Najara grabs the murder weapon, but after a test of strength, her actions come back to bite her. The episode ends with Najara finally back in prison and Xena still supporting peace and love Gabrielle. Aside from Joxer dealing with his first kill, the introduction of young Armin, and the fight scene between Xena and Najara, I don't enjoy this episode nearly as much as Crusader. Back to the lighter side of things on April 26th with Takes One to Know One, written by Jeff Fleming and once again directed by Graves. Where is everyone? Oh, here they are. Mama Cyrene is holding a surprise birthday party for Gabrielle with Lila, Minya, and Joxer. Hang on, there's one more guest. Autolycus with a buzz cut? Since our bard isn't arriving until dawn, Xena's going to beat. I wonder who this is. Later that night, things seem a little off. Hey, where's Cyrene? The warrior princess investigates and finds the woman from earlier on the ground. Dead. Sweet, Discord is back. I like Megan Desmond. Discord demands Xena to find out who the murderer is before sunrise, because it takes a murderer to know a murderer. Should the warrior princess fail, one of her buddies will die. First things first, who was this woman and what did she do? Muzzles, leather bonds, manacles. Wow, she was kind of kinky, huh? Cyrene admits she was a bounty hunter, and it's confirmed by this poster found by Autolycus. Her name was Ravinica, and her next target was Xena. Minya confirms her identity after a past experience with the hunter. Wasn't Gabrielle supposed to show up at dawn? After presenting his case against Cyrene, Autolycus has had enough of this crap. But he's not going anywhere. Discord sends her arrow straight at the accused, but Xena's not gonna let that happen. The deal was sunrise, so the goddess agrees to hold off for a little while longer. Gabrielle then finds these diamonds from Autolycus's bag. Uh-oh, did the King of Thieves do it? Not very likely, since the bag was sloppily repacked and it's omitting a scent of lavender perfume. No bounty hunter would wear any of that. So who caused the bag to smell lavendery? Lila? Upon further inspection of the crime scene, Gabrielle finds kindling. Anyone know what this means? Neither does she. An extra candle from the chandelier, an ugly rash mired in red ink, and the door was locked from the inside. The person with the key? Uh-oh. But who locked the door from the inside? And who does the murder weapon belong to? The knife is Minya's. But Xena then suspects Ravinica was dead before being stabbed. Gabrielle admits she killed the hunter. What? The bard simply wanted to slow the victim down with Joxer's gravy recipe. Ugh. But the rash on her neck must prove she was allergic. Discord returns with her bow and arrow, but wait, the flask is still full. Remember how the goddess said the deadline was sunrise? She lied, accelerating the sandglass. Joxer then recites his final encounter with Ravenica, who assumed that he was actually Jet, one of the people she was after. After splattering red ink on her, the Mighty One overheard the King of Thieves threatening to stop the bounty hunter from cashing in on the warrior princess. That's all Discord needed. Xena buys time again, but the goddess swears to take all their lives if the case isn't solved. Lila and Minya then recall attempting to free Ravenica's horse to ensure Xena's safety, but the hunter caught Lila in the act. Minya, creating a silly distraction, draws Ravenica back to her room. That's where the extra candle came from. Time's up. Discord instigates a hardcore match between our heroes and these BC Chippendale dudes. I love when Minya jabs one of them like crazy and uses a chandelier as a weapon. Awesome fight scene. Xena then convinces Discord that Argo kicked Ravenica back at this window, making the knife land on her chest before finally getting taken out by the chandelier above. Yes, Argo did it. In self-defense. The goddess angrily heads back to Olympus, and everyone is saved. Hey, isn't we supposed to be having a fiesta? It's Gabrielle's birthday. Another really fun episode with plenty of laughs to go around. This marked the final appearances of Minya and Autolycus on the Girls' Show. Endgame, written by Sears and directed by Mannheim, aired next on May 3rd. The Amazons are at war against the Romans, led by Queen Ifni, sweet. This time we have a newcomer, young Amaris, played by Jennifer Skye. Ifni and Amaris take out several enemies with ease, until they both battle a familiar face. Brutus. The Amazon Queen is brought down to one knee and... Huh? Sears! What the fuck? Because Danielle Cormack had other obligations at the time, the decision was made to kill Ifni. I still don't like this move. At all. Meanwhile, Gabrielle is participating in the executive producer's favorite pastime. Xena's not a fish, you. Suddenly, Amaris flies to her queen's rescue, and the horrible news is revealed. Back at Amazon HQ, the fact that Romans were behind this is all Xena needed. Now that the queen has returned, the remaining troops are ready to avenge Ifni. As the Amazons set up the defenses, our bard pays tribute to her longtime sister. Xena finds Pompey's crest on the ground, asserting that it is him who is hoarding Amazons for slave trading. Also, he can rebuild his army and battle Caesar once again. The plan: find Brutus and not let this go unpunished. The warrior princess takes Jalapa, Mislina, and Amaris along on her search for Caesar's right-hand man. They quickly find him, clearing out his men before taking this bastard for a ride. Brute drag. Okay, Brutus, tell us everything about Pompey and the slaves. Suddenly, Xena neutralizes this threat with her chakram. Amaris will respect Gabrielle's authority. After a swift pinch, Pompey's location is revealed. But wait, Amazons. Brutus's fate is in the hands of your queen. Hot on the trail, Xena hits Amaris with some knowledge. This is bigger than Brutus for our bard. The battle is against this and this. War and hatred. Most importantly, it's for the Amazon nation. Meanwhile, Pompey is thrilled with 2 ships worth of gold heading his way. Soon, he'll have enough mercenaries and weapons to take Caesar and Rome. As Carminus escorts the Amazon slaves with his men, Amaris makes a rookie mistake. So much for Xena's ambush. Just kidding, she uncovers her chakram and attacks them. As Pompey's men fall, the excellent warrior princess theme from the legendary Journeys plays in the background. Always good to hear that tune. Ooh, the triple kill. Nice. Time to return home and defend the fort from Pompey's retaliation. Later on, Gabrielle lays down the law. In exchange for his freedom, Brutus is to deliver an Amazon peace treaty to Caesar. Looks like they may have found the chink in Caesar's armor. The next morning, Pompey's army is approaching from the north, and they outnumber the Amazons 3-1. To make matters worse, Caesar's forces are coming in from the south. Xena decides to send Brutus back to Julius, allowing him to command an attack on Pompey from the side. With Amaris protecting Gabrielle, Xena leads the charge head-on. For Ethne! The young Amazon is as good as her word, saving our bard from a javelin. Pompey is charging ahead? What an idiot. After a nice crescent kick, Xena goes for the kill! But he is able to convince her that killing him would loosen her control over Caesar. That bastard then approaches her with a blade, costing him his head. With Pompey out of the picture, Brutus is reminded of Caesar betraying others, including Xena. He has two choices: to be Caesar's man or his own. Back in Las Vegas, the dead head and the Amazon peace treaty are delivered to the Roman leader. If they're not under my control, Brutus, they are a threat. Yep, he gets it. Time for Ethne's funeral pyre. Chalapa is personally appointed as the new queen by Gabrielle. Always do what Ethne would do, says our bard, as the flame dawns, the beginning of a new era in Amazon history. Oh boy, Endgame. It's really tough for me to enjoy the rest of this episode after the opening minutes, but I do applaud the effort here. The introduction of the aggressively ambitious Amaris, Gabrielle's latest reign as queen, and Brutus questioning his loyalty in the end are all worthwhile highlights. However, this heavily overshadows all of it. One of the few moments of the show that I'm content to never revisit again. The story continued the following week in the Ides of March, written by Stewart and directed by Ken Girardi. It's a cold day in hell, and someone we know is right in the middle of it. Callisto. Yes, I prefer her long-haired look too. Wow, that wig is right up there with the short one from Xena's vision. The barbarian is doomed to be mentally tormented by Xena and Gabrielle for eternity. But the one who suffers the most is this guy. He is obsessed with a woman that hates him. To win her over, he informs Callisto of two things she can do back on wait for the King of Hell. Get Xena off the way of the warrior without physical harm and introduce Julius Caesar to the pits of hell. Holy Amphipolis. Whoa, she's a kinky one. Caesar awakens from his latest nightmare, right next to Callisto. The barbarian notes their common enemy in Xena and claims to help him fulfill his destiny. Hudson really nailed that evil look here. Xena, Gabrielle, and Amaris are off to visit Brother Eli, much to the young, battle-hungry Amazon's chagrin. Well, Amaris, you got yourself a brawl. Everybody starts fighting, except for Gabrielle. Well, at least until this guy comes close to killing Amaris. Our bard trips him up with a rope, sending him to the water. Now talk, bozo. A frickin' 6 million dinar bounty on Xena's head? Issued by Caesar? That's all she needed. The warrior princess shall kill him once and for all. Back in Las Vegas, various imposters attempt to cash in on the bounty, but to no avail. Callisto says Caesar better be ready, because this bounty will surely bring Xena to Rome. Meanwhile, Gabrielle and Amaris locate brother Eli, who has healed yet another man. Our bard is thrilled to be reunited with the Avatar, but the young Amazon is going to need some time. Eli says in order for Gabrielle to heal, she must become love itself, for love is the only expression of divine perfection there is. Amaris is having none of this crap, and great, they're surrounded by Brutus. Keeping Gabrielle hostage with Xena after his ass. Well played, Julius. Problem is, she's closer to you than you think. The warrior princess headbutts this baddie and has a clear shot with the chakram. Off it goes, but it's caught by the barbarian. Caesar calls in his reinforcements, but they are no match for Xena. Through the window! Through the wall! Don't you love reunions? Xena may have already known about Caesar's desire to be emperor on the Ides of March, but there's something she didn't know. The part about Gabrielle and friends being taken hostage by the Romans. Xena still refuses an alliance with Callisto, but the barbarian isn't going anywhere. The hostages arrive to this prison camp, but Brutus seems a little uneasy with so many crosses set up around the area. He is told those are reserved for pirates, but the memory of Xena's vision has Gabrielle doubting that greatly. Later on, the warrior princess interrupts his piss break and demands to know where the bard is. Beware the Ides of March, warns Xena, for on that day, Caesar will declare himself emperor, and then kill you in Gaul, Brutus. As thanks, he tells her Gabrielle is at Mount Amaro, where it is indeed snowing. Back in the prison, Gabrielle has achieved such a deep level of zen, she did absolutely nothing. Our bard is one step closer to harnessing the power of love. Xena has reached the mountain, but so has Callisto. Final ultimatum. The barbarian helps Xena and Gabrielle live happily ever after if the warrior princess gives up being a warrior. Think of the peace, the serenity, the lack of guilt, your vision. Xena still refuses. At Caesar HQ, everything Xena warned Brutus about comes to pass. The cross is not being for pirates after all, an announcement on the Ides of March, an order to lead one of their legions into Gaul. Fear not, young Amaris, Xena will be here. See? Final ultimatum. Callisto prevents that horrid vision from happening if Xena leaves Caesar alone. No? Okay. The jet black-haired heroine blasts through the guards and frees Gabrielle and friends. The battle continues outside as Xena and Amaris fight with all they've got. A corkscrew dive by the young Amazon. Great action here. Eli and his followers are escorted to safety, but now we have two issues. One, Callisto is pissed. And two, she still has the chakram! Oh no, Xena's wide open! Yes! Get them, Gabby! Save Xena! Save your wife! Yes! No more smoke crap! She's gonna be a fighter! She's gonna be a killer! She's gonna be a warrior! Way to go, you! If you tell me that you did not get choked up watching this moment for the first time, I'll know you're lying. It isn't long before Gabrielle realizes what she has done. She drops the bloody knife and is then surrounded. With Xena's spine shattered, the guards are kind enough to give these two a final moment together. Our bard says she chose the way of friendship and thanks the warrior princess for bringing out the best in her. If only Xena read Gabrielle's frickin' scrolls. It's time. As the evil Callisto sticks her tongue out in the snow, the vision that originated during the Sin Trade saga slowly comes true right before our eyes. At the same time, Julius Caesar begins his big announcement in front of the Roman Senate. However, moments before, Brutus alerted everyone of Caesar's real intentions. As the two heroines are tied onto the crosses, Gabrielle loves Xena, and Xena loves Gabrielle. On this day, the 15th of March, for each stab Julius endures from behind, our two heroines endure piercing shots from those giant nails. The intercutting here showcasing how connected Xena and Caesar are after all this time is nothing short of spectacular. Great job by Rob Field. And you, Brutus? Our two heroines have been crucified. But they aren't quite dead enough. Wake up, you! In a wonderful teaser to the next 22 episodes, their spirits head to the afterlife in peace. Simply put, one of the best episodes of the entire series. Bringing back Callisto at any capacity is always a good thing, and it's great to see her be a part of this. The fight scenes, the build-up to Gabrielle's eventual decision to fight again, the execution of Caesar's execution, and this moment in the prison cell all help deliver an unforgettable 45 minutes of Xena action. Everything you could want in a season finale. Only it wasn't the finale. Turns out we had one more surprise waiting in the wings. Deja Vu All Over Again was the real season finale of Season 4, airing on May 17th, 1999. This installment was written by R.J. Stewart and marked the directorial debut of Texas's own Renee O'Connor. I have previously covered this episode in a separate video about Rock's 2 directorial stints on Xena, so I'll be skipping through quite a bit here. If you'd like a more detailed look at this episode, I invite you to check that video out. How adorable this modern day woman is dreaming that she's Xena in the Callisto episode from Season 1. Yes indeed, this is the clip show of Season 4. No, it wasn't a dream. She was Xena. This is Annie Day and her boyfriend, Harry. Annie is a super fan of Xena Warrior Princess, but Harry is not. No more internet chat rooms, he says, for her latest dream has taken things too far. But Annie counters with a newspaper article about a local vigilante dressed as the Warrior Princess fighting crime at night. Dents on her collectible sword and collectible chakram? Further proof! Harry says Annie needs help, and she agrees. She must see a past lives counselor. I love that face. The next day, the couple head to the metaphysical clinic for karmic exploration, a place welcoming you to who you used to be. Among those in the waiting room are Pocahontas, the Joan of Arc, and General George S. Patton. Marco, the triangle-loving receptionist, tells the indignant Harry that the costumes are encouraged. Now sit down, look at this menu, and shut up. Before long, here she is, the past lives expert, Maddie Merrill. I love that look for the director. She quickly recognizes Xena and invites her in first. Sorry, Harry, Annie must go on her first past life voyage without you. Inside this room filled with lava lamps and candles, the voyage begins. Clips from Sacrifice 2 scare Annie back to 1999. She says it felt like she was watching Gabrielle and Hope fall into the lava pit from afar. Maddie instructs Annie to meld her identity with Xena's before the next phase. Back in the waiting room, Patton got tired of waiting around, so Custer jumped ahead of the line. As clips from Intimate Stranger emerge on screen, Marco overhears the latest report of the Xena vigilante on the radio. Only one logical thing for him to do: pull out a gun from his drawer. Harry has had enough of this crap and is not intimidated by the quack. The rest of Stranger plays, and when Joxer hits the ground, Annie recoils. The truth hits the young woman like a ton of bricks. She was Joxer! Harry busts his way in and threatens legal action against Maddie if she doesn't cure his girlfriend of all this Xena Joxer hogwash. But wait, Annie says Maddie was there too, only not as Xena. This compels the expert to clarify the superfan's remembrance. This shot is amazing. Maddie goes on this next phase with Annie, revisiting the events from In Sickness and in Hell. When they return to 1999, Mattie is not amused. She discusses what she experienced with Marco in the waiting room, something very real. They each bring up common critiques of the Xena show here, letting fans know that the crew kept track of that stuff on and offline. Back in the room, Annie begins resembling Joxer, and Harry holds onto this sword. To prove that the quack's practice is nothing but a scam, Harry asks Manny to send all three of them on a past lives voyage together. The expert obliges, landing them in the middle of this fight during sickness. As Xena gracefully slashes away with her sword, Harry slashes the air with his sword. When Annie inquires on his experience, his response is, maybe Joxer wasn't such a bad guy. Oh God! Maddie is more than happy to pretend this never happened, but Marco has a gun. He ties all three of these lads down and activates a ticking time bomb. Have a nice day! Since Annie Day surely cannot do anything to help, they must go back in time again. They revisit A Family Affair, but that didn't help at all, so let's go back again. Ooh, it's the epic kiss scene from The Quest. Oh great, Annie is next to the bomb. She is sick of Harry's crap. Always, don't do this, and don't do that. Elbow to the face. 2 minutes. Another trip to the past takes us to the moment Joxer saved the world by eating a back fist and getting shot during return of Callisto. Xena breaks free from captivity with the chakram, and it's official. Annie was Joxer, Maddie was the sidekick, and Harry knows who the vigilante is. He grabs the chakram off Annie's side with his shoe and hurls it up above to free himself. He may have not disarmed a bomb before, but Harry has many skills. He successfully disarms the bomb by cutting the blue wire. Very good. Wait a minute, this is no Marco. It's the God of War. Finally, Ares has appeared in Season 4. Why did it take him this long? He was busy causing trouble over on the Legendary Journeys, and on the Fox Kids show Young Hercules starring Ryan Gosling. Ares says that with Y2K rapidly approaching, the world will need someone to believe in once the chaos breaks out. He offers an alliance with the warrior princess because he's a sentimental kind of guy. We then revisit the reckoning, where Ares first offered Xena an alliance. When we return to 1999, it's the same argument, same card to play. Xena once again refuses to join forces with Ares. Are we gonna fight again? Bring it on! Ares predicts the future of phone books as the two longtime foes duke it out. Using an umbrella, Xena is able to disarm Ares and takes him down. After Annie frees herself with the chakram, she gets in her own shot for good measure. The God of War has had enough of this crap, but don't forget, he's still immortal and he will be back. Now that these three know more about their past lives, it's only natural for Annie to leave Harry and Maddie to do as they wish. After several clips of critical moments between Xena and Gabrielle from all 4 seasons, holy Aphrodite do they take advantage. Poor Annie is now alone, but she isn't down for long. She's Annie the Mighty. The episode ends with the always fun Annie Bonanni song and dance. It does seem strange at first to see a funny clip show as the finale, but after all the hard-hitting action from the Ides of March, I certainly didn't mind it. One of my favorite episodes of the season, and a solid debut from O'Connor as the director, amid several time constraints behind the scenes. That'll do it for our long look back at Season 4 of Xena Warrior Princess. This compendium of 22 episodes was definitely more scattered in terms of stuff I did like and stuff I didn't like. But without question, I believe there were more high points than low points. Although the popularity of the show had started to dwindle in the ratings, it remained in the top 5 of syndicated television drama shows the rest of the way. The highest rated episode of this season was Locked Up and Tied Down with a 4.9. It was the end of the road for many crew members behind the scenes, as many of them went to work on the eventual mega hit Lords of the Ring trilogy. This included longtime costume designer Nyla Dixon. Despite this, the show would return with a bang and hit an impressive milestone at the turn of the new millennium. But for now, thank you all very much for joining me on this latest journey through Xena history. These videos have been a blast to create thus far, and I'm very grateful to all of you who continue to support the channel. Until next time, battle on, viewers. Xena, the great warrior in the party.